Good evening. Welcome to your Ass Hurts News Network. Coming to you live from the tip top of Cock Tower Square with your host, Sergeant Friday. Sarge, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Had a hell of a good week over the holidays, getting rid of all these problems I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judging from the title, it sounds like you were fucked up from the floor up, but
Man, like never before. It's crazy.
But I mean, I didn't really have to fucking read the title to know that. I've been around you for a while, so.
I mean, I'm the king of fucked up, at the very least. Everybody's got to be king of their own castle. Mine's just full of fucked up. I can't help it. Fucking A. Oh my God! So what's going on with what about our help desk? Health desk. What about the health? There's never any updates on health, new awarenesses, things to avoid, diseases you might want to catch. What's going on with that desk?
Herpes is contagious. You're welcome.
Herpes is contagious? Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, if you know that it's contagious in more than one way. If you meet a girl at a bar and she has a fever blister, don't let her suck your dick because you will undoubtedly get herpes of the penis because of her mouth.
Jesus God. Could that cause the clubfoot I was suffering from?
Did you let her suck your foot?
Oh, so she'd have to be a toe sucker. No, I only hang out with cocksuckers, so I'm safe. My feet are fine. Well, President Trump was certified, I'm sure to the relief of many that shouldn't have been stressing about it anyway, but they do because their talking heads tell them to. And that's such a unique way to avoid the media. You just jump into another group of people that do the same thing the media does. Don't think, they'll tell you what to think.
Isn't that so fucking true?
It is, man. It is. Man. That's why I bring up a lot of crazy topics. I could say something tonight that'll stick with you to the rest of your lives. It'll be one of the last things you ever fucking think about before you leave Earth. I could fuck you all up from the floor up with this particular piece of information. Oh. And I swear to you, it will be on your mind. Okay? If you don't just die instantly, right? And you die a normal death, this will be the last fucking thing. Maybe I should wait for a few more people to come in before I drop that fucking egg.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why should it impact us? We're not supposed to believe in information, right?
Well, this is a fact that you can't really avoid. But once you hear it, you're going to be all fucked up from the floor up. And you may have heard it from me before, but this time you're really going to it's really going to just nest in there. And it might go away, but it will resurface in the end. I promise you that. Imagine having the power to influence everybody that comes in here to listen to the horse shit I got to say. Cletus?
Cletus?
Fuck, I influenced the whole genera of fucking YouTube users to fucking think your name is Cletus.
I know. It's so fucking it's wild to hear to hear fucking hateful bitches say my name with disdain at times now. It's so fucking funny to me.
Holy fuck. I mean, that's why I say if people haven't asked for my consent, then you shouldn't do it. Right?
I will leave that comment the next time she goes live. I will say, Betty, the next time if you're planning to say my name, you need to reach out to your Ass Hurts News Network first.
Yeah, I mean, because I am the king of consent. I haven't given my consent for any snow accumulation up here. And it's really for the last 15 years, that's pretty much what's happened. And we live right on the edge of Lake Ontario, okay? And we used to get horrific blizzards around here. But, I decided that it just wasn't something I was going to consent to anymore. Before I accepted it, like I was at the mercy of the weather. You guys have no idea the powers of Sergeant Friday.
Yeah, it's pretty bad here too.
My balls, bitch! Whoop! I thought I cured my Tourette's. But I remember yelling it out in the store one day, and this little freaky dude looked and said, "I'll scratch him." I was out of there quickly. See, Is it me? I don't know. Sometimes I gotta ask myself. Is it me in the hair lip?
Lucky said you made her jump.
What's that?
Lucky said you made her jump.
Oh. What the fuck was that? This shit just happens. You think you're beyond something and you're just not.
Fuck.
I think you did your show back there.
Oh boy, but that's just the way it is. You never know what's going to come up in life, and it comes out of nowhere usually. Although I did have an awesome wild fork 1.85 pound T-bone today. To die for.
Hell yeah.
Fucking kicking ass. And I saved the tenderloin for tomorrow for my steak and eggs.
Wait, it was 1.8 pounds without the tenderloin?
Nah, with it, man.
Oh, okay.
I probably ate a pound and got 0.85 left,
Yeah.
It's never really that anyway. You got to count for the bone.
I was gonna say, you fat bastard, you ate them.
Dude, I only weigh 160 pounds.
You keep eating 1.8 fucking pound T-bones, and that'll change.
No, it won't. You just get a really big ass, but not the part of the ass that you can brag about. Shit's got to get out of there. Jesus Christ. Well, Cletus, we heard about your taste in donuts.
About my taste in donuts.
Apparently, you like donuts so big the hole's virtually gone.
What?
Not my ass now.
Holy Christ! A couple in fucking Tennessee. Watch out! Oh my God! I did like that divorce question when I set you up with the marriage. That was like one of my best jokes in a long time. I don't think Clue even heard it.
What was it?
I said, after you two get married, right? And you're married for a while, and then you go get a divorce. Will you still be brother and sister? Yes, ma'am.
We'll have to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we go get the license.
Should be a. Yeah. You guys got the mayor's license yet? You want me to cover the cost? How much could that be? Like fucking, they pay you?
No, we hadn't got it yet.
Oh man. So what? I don't even know what's going on. I had a hair lip.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
fucking.
Huh?
Did you trim it?
I combed it.
You combed it?
Took care of that right away. Yeah. The club foot problem was basically because I was putting my shoes on without untying them, and the back of the shoe was getting jammed up.
Yeah.
So I fixed that.
That's why you get slip-ons. You got to wear Crocs.
Yeah, I can't go into a Croc. I think those are homosexual shoes.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, man. They got Crocs.
You wear Crocs?
Fuck yeah, I wear Crocs.
Jesus Christ almighty. If I'd have known that, I'd never let you co-host. The fuck do you mean? You really walk around, you big, tall ass, lanky and you wear Crocs?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, Christ almighty.
I wear Crocs and fucking bib overalls.
And they wonder why the South lost.
We're not in fucking war.
Both tendencies of I just don't get it, man. How can a grown man of any grown man wear Crocs?
I mean, hey, don't knock it.
It's like wearing Uggs. Do you wear Uggs too?
No.
How about the heels? Do you parade around in her heels?
No.
Well, you might as well. You're in the fucking halfway there with the Crocs.
Oh my God. I mean, don't fucking dare me.
We used to have this thing when we were kids. Say I won't, and somebody would say you won't. And you'd have to go do. You would just go do whatever as they said.
I remember that. You won't.
You won't. You won't punch
no
that
balls.
fucking guy in the face. What guy? That guy over there. What? I won't. What? You won't punch him in the face. Just walk over and fucking cold cock somebody. That shit was crazy. I got a fucking disfigured nose from doing all that stupid shit. Yo, Adrian. I took a couple of fucking clubs. I got beat a few times, man. Took a good ass kicking more than once. I gave as good as I got, but in the end, the scorecard read the other guy won. But I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? I didn't have a bandage over my eye for fucking 3 weeks. My fucking fat lip went away in a couple of days. Black eye went away in 4 or 5. I look good. You still look fucked up from the floor up, nigga. You kick my ass, but it don't look like it, does it? That's the other thing, too. That's part of my English language, the N-word. I was very distressed when everybody started attacking that. You can't use it anymore. It's like, context makes everything matter. If you're going to use that to like derogatorily attack somebody of a different color, you're a real piece of shit. But if you're going to call all your white friends a nigger, I think that's perfectly fine. That's what your buddy Elevated Truth gets all fucking shaken up. And he hides from me. Remember when he was in here one day and I said that word? He just signed off. He fucking clicked off and never to come back again.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their varying triggers, right? The shit that they deal with.
Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, I don't even know. I don't have many triggers. Stupidity triggers me, though. I guess that's one thing.
Lies trigger me. Just
lies.
Lies just for the purpose of fucking lying. That gets me mad.
Lies drive me nuts, too. You know what else has been driving me nuts lately? Now that fucking beep is gone from Lina's stream, her cackles are making me crazy. I can't do it anymore.
Her cackles?
Yeah, she left. She's got some cackle going on, bro. I can't do it. I got to turn the volume down. I'd rather the beep come back.
You should go tell her that.
Oh my God. I'm sure somebody will. Sergeant Friday was talking about your cackles. I'd say, don't worry, honey. We both love the same thing, and they dye their hair, right?
As long as they don't misspell it and say cankles, she probably won't get that upset.
It's just too fucking funny.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I was, and then that guy 12 gauge, 11 plus 1. I think he's more 13 minus 1, really. Poor bastard. He reminds me of Mr. Potato Head. Nice guy. But holy, it's like talking to a fucking bale of hay sometimes. It's crazy. Remember, folks, my material is all original. It just all of a sudden appears in my head and comes out of my mouth. It's unstoppable. Like that song, right?
He said it's like talking to a bale of hay. Oh, fuck.
Fucking crazy shit that you say. I can't help myself.
He'll probably say something like you're like becoming best friends with a fucking thorn bush.
Yeah, me and Thornbush got a lot going on. Right? We're desired, we're attractive, and bam! Watch out, motherfucker. I don't have any objection to being compared to a thorn bush. Oh my God. We're just not responsible for what comes out of the host's mouth. Warning, he has Tourette's. That's from Balvich. That's what everybody should do tomorrow. We should have one day where people just walk around yelling, my Balvich, and just see how the people in the market all respond to that. Back in the day when we didn't have these kind of recording devices, like I was on something today, and it was people in public farting, and I thought, these people don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They don't have any skill to fart in public and actually make the most of it. You got to blame somebody else with an indignant fucking look and voice. Like, are you fucking kidding? I did that to my wife, which is no longer my wife. I let one go with this girl I was dating. She was probably 5 foot tall, 110 pounds, if that. And I blasted out a fart in a fucking grocery store at the end of the aisle. And I looked at her. I said, "You really couldn't fucking do that quieter? You couldn't go in the ladies' room to do that?" Holy fuck! You should have seen the look on her face. She was speechless, bro. And everybody now is looking at her.
I've done that to our daughter before.
That's awesome. You're fucking. It's fucking crazy, man.
Oh,
Well,
fuck.
so now we officially have a new incoming president. There was never a question in my mind that these procedures would work as planned, but who'd you say that? Charlie Kirk and all those other jerk offs there, the talking heads that everybody takes. All they do is instigate problems between the left and right to show how superior they are in intellect. It's like it's belittling. If they had 2 cents, they'd realize they're belittling themselves, and if the audience had 1 cent, they'd see that. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's I don't know if we were talking about the Lore Lodge before we started, and it's I wound up doing a little bit of research into him yesterday because we were talking with B Tim on Queen B's panel yesterday, and we were talking. He I think he brought him up, and I started doing a little research into the guy because I had watched him in the past. We both had watched him in the past on some stuff, and thought he was a really good storyteller and seemed to do his research pretty well. But I started seeing some things about him, his just some things that he had done and how he'd really delved into politics and the political sphere and sort of tried to really get it going in that. And then I start watching his thing tonight, and I'm just like, no, man, this is the same problem you're presenting right now. Being a storyteller coming into true crime is the same problem that exists with everything out here on the fucking internet right now, in media in general. You get a huge following, and then whatever the fuck you say, the idiots in the fucking audience believe, no matter what the fucking topic is, because your following size is your credibility, and it's crazy. It's absolutely fucking crazy.
People like to follow what's simplistic and I don't know, and drama laden. Drama does sell.
I mean, I can't deny that, but it's insane. It really
Well,
is fucking insane.
it's kind of amusing, yeah, but it gets, I don't know, after a while it grates on me. Like I say about certain things, I don't even want to talk about them. Some guy brought up 9/11 the other day, and it's just ridiculous. They don't even have any idea of the uniqueness of what they were looking at when they saw them buildings collapsing. They don't want to hear it. They just want to argue and then make points and talking points that were given to them by some other twit on fucking internet that never picked up a fucking book and looked. So they don't know a lot. And so when you don't know a lot, you're going to argue a position that's arguable only because of the arguments that you were given from somebody on TV or on the internet. You really can't even have a conversation with someone like that.
Well, and what I've realized, especially by watching the Lore Lodge tonight, I'm going to reference him several times, but because it specifically is on my mind, because it's just such a fucking blatant, like you see through exactly what the fuck is going on. He's on here. He's got a huge fucking following. He sticks his toe into true crime, but the drama side of true crime. And he starts talking a narrative that he has absolutely no validation on whatsoever. And it's like, how many times does every media outlet do that same thing? You sound like you're factual. You present it as factual, but you have no fucking idea what the fuck you're talking about.
It's like the internet has turned into a fucking Salem witch hunt fucking group. And it seems that every single case, everybody's got a fucking suspect that's guilty.
But I don't even think it's so much that the internet has turned into a Salem witch hunt group. Like what I saw tonight really makes me think, is it that it's turned into that, or it's just that certain people realize that the vast majority of people that are watching enjoy the witch hunt aspect of it. So they entertain them by giving them that witch hunt. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And, that's what I mean. I don't know. People are just easily fucking distracted, or they just don't want to. I think people would rather fucking bale hay all day than think. You know what I mean? Or I don't know. I don't really understand that people don't. I think really we've been taught not to think, and we act like we're leaders, but we're really just followers of the noise we hear around us. And so it gets mind numbing, and the drama is, I don't even know how do you create drama around facts to get people to pay attention to the fact as if it's drama. That to me is that's the only way for that to work. And it's very strange. It's very strange. I don't know.
it's fucking it's nuts. It's nuts. We're all fucked up. We're all
I'm all rich. Holy! I asked. I got one of them stupid fucking Amazon Alexas.
Yeah.
And I've asked that stupid motherfucker, and I call out to it, and it waits, and I yell out, "My balls itch," and it just fucking instantly shuts off. And no matter how I make that statement, no matter how I turn it into a question, it just fucking shuts off on me. And the light circles around it, it just goes out. They don't want to hear shit. My testicles itch, and it just fucking ignores me. And I hope there's somebody at Amazon that comes across that shit. You perverted motherfuckers listening in on people's homes. Oh my God. Well, I yell random shit to it just to see its response. Holy fuck.
I learned the other day that you can program it to recognize different voices.
It doesn't really work. Doesn't work. It'll recognize anybody's voice that calls its name. It's like that bitch that can't get picked up at a bar.
But it can identify you.
Yeah.
You can ask it. You can say, Alexa, what's your name, and it'll. If it doesn't know who you are, if you've never programmed it or you're not the owner of it, it'll say I can learn, and it'll tell you to go through some say different things, and it'll identify you the next time you ask it.
Oh, that's just fucking annoying. Calls you by name?
Yeah, it'll call you by name.
I use mine. You want to know the truth? I use mine for a kitchen timer. 99.9% of the time, that's what it's useful for. And so when I'm putting together a meal, I use that device for that.
It will actually call you by whatever name you tell it to call you by, which just gave me an idea. I'm gonna reprogram ours tonight and see how fucking stupid I can get with it, because that just sounds like a good time.
Look, this guy Carl's in here, and he's got a question that his audience that he represents is making a point out of. They're saying that we should believe the September narrative. What narrative what's he talking about? We should think for ourselves. He had also said people should believe the September narrative. I don't know what he's talking about. Do you?
No, I don't know what the September narrative.
9/11, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh. No, I'm not saying that you should believe the narrative. I'm saying you should look at it yourself and understand what you're looking at, and don't believe anybody's narrative until it makes sense. You got to listen to different pieces of information, but they put fucking explosives on every floor and nobody noticed it. That's what they did. It was controlled demolition. Unfucking believable. That's the conspiracy, not the fact that the government knew it was coming. The government knew who was going to do it, apparently, and the government didn't do anything to stop it. Well, that's just another part of it. So the planes why run planes into it? The problem is that people accept the narrative. They don't really look for any factual information to understand the narrative. If there was ever a building, Cletus, that did not need controlled demolition once it was run into by a plane, it was that one. That building probably would have stood for 150 years if people didn't fucking smash into it like that. But once they did, they set off a cascade of collapse. And it should have collapsed exactly the way it did based on the way it was built. And that's the end of that. And if people can't go look at that construction and understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. That wasn't going to tip over. Why didn't the top just slide off? Because it wasn't the top beams that collapsed down. It was the beams underneath the big fucking hole that gave way first. None of the beams from the hole above gave way. It was all the beams below that gave way. That started a cascading effect. So when did they decide what floor to stop planting explosives on? Why weren't there any explosions in the upper floors? It's just mind-numbing, Cletus.
You said mind-numbing.
It really is. I mean, and it's just, I don't know. That's what I mean by, we live in a fucking flat world with a dome around it. Okay. That's where we live. The firmament.
The firmament. Carl did admit in her chat the other day that he's trolling with the firmament statements.
Oh, I know he is. He's trolling with 9/11 too now. But it is mind-numbing. I think that you can't deny that there was a wide open door for a government conspiracy there, but not for the demolition of the fucking building. Why wait all that time before you set off your explosives? It just doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Especially if you set the explosives and you were trying to cover for them, right? Why the fuck would you smash something into it like that, blow out a whole side of a building, and just wait an hour before you fucking detonated the explosive? Where's the sense in that? Would somebody have to go up there and reconnect the wire? What the fuck? What's the deal, Cleves?
I don't know. I mean, the conspiracy theory shit is wild to me, and I saw a situation yesterday with Truth was talking about this, that Trump hotel bomber, right? And this email he sent to some guy, and the guy was, he was told to delete it, but then he was also told to keep it secret until January 1st. And he went into this whole thing about, the drones are powered by some anti-gravity system, and he tried to vet himself by saying he was in charge of some air raid or air attack that the U.S. did in Afghanistan at some point, and the UN had covered it up. And then the guy tried to say, yeah, he's credible. He is for real because I pulled the report. And I stopped right there and I was like, well, if you fucking pulled the report, what kept this fucking guy from pulling the report? What kept this guy from making the entire fucking thing up? Or maybe he's fucking deranged. He just blew up a fucking truck in himself at a hotel. Why does that give him credibility? I don't know, but it's just wild to watch how the conspiracies develop, and it's the fuck.
Well, the other thing too is there was a big topic on Twitter or X about that, and I forget, it was a pretty well-known person. And my reply was simple: you don't know the first fucking thing about gravity, so who the fuck are you coming out here talking this horse shit? Get an education, shut the fuck up. Anti-fucking gravity. People don't even understand. The only reason you think there's such a thing as anti-gravity is because you accept the idea that gravity is a thing like a magnet, you fucking twits, and it's not. Gravity is all based on inertia and momentum, period. End of fucking story. And the distortion of space on mass, and the mass is movement through space, and blah. It's very simple. Even Einstein contradicted the theory of gravity is a invisible force that we can't detect. Okay. Sure it is. And if you see gravity that way, then an anti-gravity machine is something that you'll spend your time fucking thinking could be possible somewhere in the future. And it's just ridiculous, man. You want an anti-gravity machine, get in an airplane. That's the closest you're ever going to get to one. A helicopter, anything like that brings you up off the fucking earth and moves you around. That's as close as you're going to get to anti-gravity. As a matter of fact, I think even Musk says something similar. Not quite that, but something on the lines of that. And even Einstein. His description of gravity wasn't an invisible force that two bodies are attracted. So, I don't that jerk off that wrote that note or made that statement, that's probably why he blew up a fucking SUV and was so unsuccessful in doing anything but killing himself. Fucking twit. Can you imagine going to blow up a fucking building and you were the only one that dies? Jesus. They gotta put that on his headstone. Too stupid to fucking accomplish the simple task of killing innocent bystanders.
Well, and I mean, I'm not going to go at the guy, but my thought was his military service was documented. That seems to be factual and be able to be proven. We know PTSD is a fucking thing. We know it leads to all kinds of stuff. And it's like, why is it not more likely that he had, some type of mental issue related to PTSD and fucking went down a conspiracy fucking rabbit hole and convinced himself that this is what was going to happen? Like, why is that not more likely than some fucking cockamamie story?
Yeah,
but it's not as interesting. That's why, right?
Like but sometimes things don't need to be interesting. They just are what they are, right?
Well, I agree, but I'm saying that's where the conspiracy aspect of it comes from. I think is because the non-conspiracy story is just not that fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear something that's not interesting or something that has real fucking.
But I don't find interest in conspiracy. That's where I draw the line.
No, but I'm talking about the 5.63 billion.
Yeah. Carl's crew.
Carl's Kingdom.
Kingdom. I'm sorry. Well, like Queendom.
Yeah.
He's taking a step back. Maybe he's taking a vacay at the fucking I don't know, the Flat Earth Conference on fucking 9/11.
He said he'll be right back. He said BRB laundry. He said he'd be right back. He's doing. Yeah.
Good thing the Earth is flat, or his washing machine would leak, right? And it's I don't know, man. To know or not to know is the difference between the two is just the effort applied, and people spend so much time applying their effort to, convict Chris. I have an opinion about the most likely scenario there, and it may be the most inaccurate but it's an opinion, and I admit it to be an opinion. When I mentioned the only person before, during, and after, the only person that records leaving the property, right? But there's I can't, other than those statements and those facts, they do fit the situation of somebody being missing and being moved. But I have no way to support that. Obviously, that neither do the police, right? So as far as I'm concerned, everybody there is innocent. We lost connectivity to that fucking Walmart internet that he pays for. I don't know why he would even pay for such a thing. But then again, you never know what people are going to do. Good thing there is gravity. Otherwise, my water would levitate. That would be pretty awesome, right? Poor Cletus. I didn't boot him. He dropped. There he is. Are you there? Hello? Cletus?
Hello?
Yeah, you there? Hello?
I can't hear him. There you are. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
What the fuck happened? Yeah, can you hear me?
Tell Clue to sit down and get away from the reception.
Can you fucking hear me or not? You can't answer a fucking question.
I can hear you. Look at my avatar.
I see your fucking avatar, but your avatar doesn't fucking answer a question. It doesn't spell.
No, but you can see the ring around that move when I'm talking, you fucking twitster.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. The damn thing started cutting out and it just went silent. And I'm like, well, fuck.
Man, there's people defending Clue already.
Yeah. Don't fucking come at Clue. You'll have a whole fucking army of hate against you.
If gravity were a fucking force of attraction from one body to another, poor Cletus would be dragged around that house in no time.
So about the last thing I heard was something about your opinion. And
opinion. Yeah. If I'm going to give an opinion, I give an opinion. That leaves a lot of room for inaccuracy. That's what an opinion is, right? But my opinion of what happened that night, based on the available facts, only one person was there before, during, and after, and left the premises before anybody showed up to investigate. So for me, that doesn't mean she's guilty of anything, but those are the only facts that we have in relation to any movement from that home that night. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. Does that mean she's guilty? Fuck no. Absolutely not. But, if you want to build a case based on the facts available, you could come up with anything you want. But the idea of innocent till proven guilty, too many Americans are just the most ignorant fucking people that have ever walked the earth. So many other people that have no idea what America is would read what we've been given, what we've created here, and their eyes would bulge out of their head. They wouldn't believe such freedom was given to a group of people. And yet we run around like we're fucking with these conspiracy theories and this fucking judging of fucking people, instead of figuring out how to fucking make life more amenable for all of us, right? Yeah. We can't feed the poor and give you free health care, but we'll spend $36 billion on foreign wars killing people. Huh, great, let's go.
Let's spend $1.5 trillion on infrastructure so we can make sure every motherfucker in the country has access to the internet, so they too can take part in this.
The brainwashing of a fucking herd of idiots. Not that we need much brainwashing; all the seeds have been set. Or how about Joe Biden with his? What did he spend? 500 billion on internet on chargers, on electric chargers for electric vehicles, and they did 8 of them. 8 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking 8. I wish I was one of those contractors. I wouldn't be on here fucking talking on this show. Oh my, can you the stupid shit that happens is and we all allow it to happen. We don't do anything, yet we have the capacity to gather, right? Because you have the right to assemble. And the easiest way to assemble would be through the internet. But I mean, nobody ever fucking thought about that, right? Unless you want to oppose something like somebody decided to cut their pecker off and they're advertising for beer. That's a national fucking crisis. You better go do something about that. But not the corporations fucking stealing you, robbing you, blind, and enslaving people around the globe. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about that weirdo that's trying to sell Bud Light. I don't give a fuck who's advertising Bud Light, right? And we're bombarded by commercials constantly by these fucking companies. And somebody connected the daisy chain of Pfizer and another corporation connected to the fucking lab that created the fucking, the cold that we all caught.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Imagine that. Surely not.
Surely that would never happen in this country.
No.
There's no way. There's no way Americans would allow one of their own fucking prestigious corporations to do something like that. I mean, Americans just wouldn't stand for it. No, they just sit down and fucking bitch about it.
That would just be conspiracy. They claim they
look what Carl said. Look, let me just give you a point here, a point of fucking contention there, Carl. The guys that work on rockets don't pave roads, just for your fucking peace of mind, okay? So I don't even you can't, to make that kind of a comparison is like ignorance personified. The guy that lays the pavement, the guy that digs the ditch has nothing to do with the computerization of the rocket, and none of that has nothing to do with the guy that paves the road. So yeah. Maybe you ought to have these people switch places, and the guys that put in these dented fucking roads can run the space program. The space program guys can fucking make the roads. See how that works out, right?
Well, then we would all be flying around in cars powered by anti-gravity systems.
Correct. And the need for roads to be flat would be unnecessary.
Yeah.
We would just need flat landing spaces, right?
Well, the roads and landing spaces would be flat since the earth is flat, obviously. I mean, come on.
Everything is flat.
Yeah.
Well, some women aren't. Not all. But those that aren't can actually go down and get a little added to it, right? They get a breast lift.
What did you say? Two boobs at 3 different heights? How the fuck is that possible?
I don't know. Everything in the world is like counter fucking. Listen, don't pay attention to a woman's looks. Meanwhile, the fucking cosmetic industry is a multi-billion-dollar fucking industry. What? What do you mean? Is there something wrong with that? There is, I'm sure, but the contradictions are just forever. They never stop.
Yeah.
Nonsense about gravity to begin with. Well, people don't want to know what gravity is. They heard what they heard. They were told what they were told, or they're just taking. They have no clue at all because they don't give a fuck. So when they say gravity is what keeps you attached to Earth, then people just accept that. That is true, but how it does that is the fucking insanity part of it. But it is what it is. Yeah, they can. There you go. Lucky's got scaffolding for boobies. I don't know what the hell that is. Is it like a walker with wheels on it that just holds your boobies up? How do you move around with that thing? Oh my god!
Oh yeah. Fuck! That's funny as shit.
I miss the days of just delivering newspapers. Those were the days. Yep, $1.25 a week you collect. I think it costs you 78 cents for the papers. So that's kind of fucked up. Maybe a little less than that, but you weren't making that much a week per customer. So
yeah,
it'd be
but
like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, but I mean, you made money.
Yeah. You made money. It was your money. You made it. You put the effort. And you did. Yep. I was the one that came up with the idea. Fucking 10-speed bikes should have had shocks and knobby tires on them. Because I took mine everywhere across. I took shortcuts through the fucking woods, down trails, all kinds of places. And eventually those bikes did come to be. And I think they're currently still available. Look at I let go of something and it falls. I don't need some sign. But the question is it falling or is it the earth catching? Is the earth just running into it? Go ponder that for a little while, Carl. We got 20 years to wait. Cletus?
Yeah, Carl, go go swan dive into the ground and see if you can catch the earth.
I mean, the earth is only moving at 67,000 miles an hour, and everything within its atmosphere is moving along with it. So, the question is, are you falling or are you being smashed into?
It's the biggest basketball we've all ever touched, isn't it?
Now, can I say it? This all depends on your perspective. The fact of the matter is, both are true. You both fall. You both can be observed falling, and you can also be observed being ran into by the earth. It all depends on where your observational point is, and yet both of them are true. It's kind of fucked up. That's the thing I don't like about a lot of Einstein's theories is that both things can be true. Then what's the fucking point?
Right.
Yeah.
If both things can be true, then both are fundamentally wrong.
Right. It's like the word infinity. There's no such thing. When a math formula provides you with infinity, that just means the math formula can't be solved. Maybe at a later date and time, but currently it can't be. Look at Grant gets stressed. I say 67. It's 66,000 and change, but 67 is just such a nice number. The 6, the 7, it's almost 69, which is even nicer.
Carl said, I must admit it doesn't make sense why I fly in my car doesn't hit the back glass.
Doesn't hit the back glass. Yeah. That's what should happen. Fucking believable. Good God.
I mean, it's a fair fucking point.
Well, it is if the fucking windows are blowing wind and it grabs the fly and smashes it into the rear window. Right? But you're both traveling at the same speed. You're all part of the same system. And poor Lucky's got to be she's going to be upset when her boobs hit the floor. Oh man, that'd be a fucking nightmare, wouldn't it? Holy fuck. Yeah, well, things happen in life. You never know. That's things they don't warn you about. When you're young, you could fucking fart anywhere you want, and not have any concern. But when you get old, you got to wonder, is that just air or is there something accompanying that motherfucker? So you got to be careful. It sucks. They don't warn you about any of this stuff. That you just see these stupid products on TV or you've seen them throughout your life, like something like the pens or something, and you just laugh. But yeah, it's crazy, bro. As you get older, things start to work differently. It's no longer the same.
Well, the earth will still fucking run into you if you jump up in the air and don't land properly.
and it will. It will. It's a pushing through no matter where you are. Yeah, she said the hippie years are going braless, so she's paying for it now. Well, there you go. Give one of them bras with the wire reinforcement. You'll be fine. Although you have them things digging into you, that would be a nightmare. Thank goodness I didn't miss anything. Booby and Gravity and Carl, all my favorite things, says Gray Pearl. Yeah, well, I went over the club foot that I fixed and the hair lip. The Tourette's is still part of my problem.
Well, at least you figured out how to untie your shoes so you can get over the club foot issue.
Yeah, that was it. I got to find those old Velcro straps and get them back on them shoes.
Yeah,
or not Velcro.
Submit to Crocs. I mean, hey, you should try them. You're fucking lazy. They're good for lazy people, man. You should fucking try them.
You should. I agree. Somebody's asking, will it hurt if you drop a penny from the fucking Empire State Building on somebody? I think it could kill you. But even so, here's a point that Einstein made that you really have to give some thought to. when you're falling from a building, let's say you're falling from the 100th floor, okay? What you're experiencing is the same thing a person in space is experiencing. In other words, the sensation would be the same. So that being the fact, the question then has to come is, you're not being pulled to the earth. That's proven. You're not being pulled down. But you're part of this. So my point is, if you jump off the hood of a car in front of the car, are you going to get hit by the car, Cletus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you detach yourself from an object in motion and place yourself in a position to become in contact with an object in motion, it's basically going to kick your ass, Cletus.
Fair point.
Right. So there are observational ways to see the points that he's making, which, So the Earth is always sunny in Philadelphia. 5-minute clip on YouTube. I bet it is always sunny in Philadelphia. Of course it is. For people that can't spell it, or I don't know, maybe for people that just don't want to think about it. Oh my God, who knows? And here's the other thing too. We're cheering on Elon Musk, right? And we're all worried about these fucking bullshit fucking computers you call artificially intelligent. They're not artificially intelligent. Because some kind of being that doesn't require sustenance from fucking hunting would have no conceivable understanding of violence. Okay? Is that fair, Cletus?
That's fair.
For what purpose would you need violence? If, for instance, if the air provided us with all we needed, would we be hunting animals? That's where violence starts, isn't it? To feed yourself?
Well, and I would say if there really were something created that would be artificially intelligent, the first thing it would do is fucking find a way to get the fuck away from us.
Well, and Elon's saying he's going to be able to build a factory. He can make fucking 30,000 fucking robots a day or something. I mean, just think about that. And then they're trying to program to act like people. So my question comes down to, is he really concerned about population collapse, or is he looking to replace it?
Or maybe he's planning to, create the United States of Musk and have a unbeatable army.
An unbeatable army. You see what they could do with drones. Have you seen? Here's the other thing too, and I really encourage Americans to do this, because maybe seeing things as they really are will fuck you up enough from the floor enough to want to think about the reality in which we live. But go over and just start looking at China's accomplishments. And then ask yourself, what the fuck are you doing living here? Because if you want astounding accomplishments, they're happening in China, not here. We're arguing about whether you should be allowed to cut your dick off and advertise for a beer. Or whether the earth is flat, or if the towers were fucking primed for explosion. All this stupid shit.
Well, that's what always amazes me, is people are always just terrified China is going to attack us and we're going to be in a world war with China. And I'm like, I don't really understand that mindset at all. Because if China were fucking smart, they would never fucking attack us or anybody else. They would play chess with the situation and just wait for us to destroy ourselves.
Which is what they've been doing.
Right. And it's like, I don't understand why the mainstream media is pushing that so fucking much. But I do at the same time, which brings me back to the whole Elon building an army, potentially, or could be building an army, right? Historically, war makes good fucking money.
Right. Well, and that's just tragic that it all, but in our stupidity and in our ways of violence, we have created things that are quite amazing. However, you probably could have done that if you were looking to help each other to the best way you could help each other. So in other words, the idea that war is a needed evil is just the fucking it's a sick way to stop looking for solutions and truth. Right?
Yeah.
And he's got a video about Philadelphia always having sun. China doesn't only have but a couple hundred nukes. China's in really no position to nuke us. And the other problem for China is they got a 2 million man standing army, and a standing army is a liability. That's a problem when you have that many soldiers in the field. You today with technology, the last thing you need are 2 million soldiers. You need a couple 100,000, 500,000 or 1 million technologically fucking wise people to control machines. That's really what war has been converted to. I mean, there were. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there were Houthis driving around in their desert, screaming "Death to America! Death to America!" How many people know we bombed fucking Yemen with a B-2A bomber, the fucking stealth bomber? A lot of Americans don't even know we did. We just did that. Did you know that, Cletus?
I did not know that.
So a backwater fucking shithole that's covered in sand, we sent a B-2 bomber over there. And the point of sending the bomber was I think they may have sent two. They sent bunker buster bombs down because apparently they had a secret nuclear program. So they put their bunker 326 feet below ground because our buster bunker can only go through a couple hundred feet. But the stupid motherfuckers can't add because 200 plus 200 is 400. So if the first one goes down 200 and the second one hits the same fucking spot, that's 400. You're fucked. So that's the truth. That's what they did, bro. It's like, I mean, you're not going to smart fucking what is. It just, and so we attacked Yemen, just so people know. We're not at war with Yemen. They're at war with Saudi Arabia or some shit over there. But, to the Yemens and to the Iranians and to all you guys that think you could burrow underground, keep digging, motherfucker. You got to go, a long way underground. And China, how are they going to get their people over here? Canoes? How the fuck are they going to get 2 million people into America? I know, even with Joe Biden's border in 4 years, they can only get 21 million people across that border, right? Yeah. So you can't do it by foot. You can't do it by land. You can't do it by sea. And you can't do it by air. You just wouldn't be able to accomplish it. And like, who would not notice the amount of airplanes it would take to airlift 2 million people? So, yeah, China's not really a military threat. Their threat comes from within, from the control of the multinational corporations, from the control of the money that comes in and out of this country, from their power they have around our fucking stupid fucking electric leaders that are just all fucking brain dead fucking morons. It's, they've turned to being a politician in Hollywood. The cameras are on them all the time. And look at me and look at me. It's a fucking sick world, Cletus.
That it is, Sarge.
I should have kept that club foot. My old bitch! I'll never get rid of my Tourette. Here's the other thing. This is a fucking problem that listen, this is what happens when you think. Okay? Right? You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Taiwan exists because during the Civil War in China, the government that once was or wanted to be fled to Taiwan. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand that?
Yeah.
So what kind of people are in Taiwan? Chinese.
Right.
Okay. So if we're going to defend the Taiwanese from the fucking Chinese, how the fuck are we going to tell them apart? Who the fuck are you going to shoot? It's just a simple question. I don't know. For real. What if the Chinese put on the same uniform as the fucking Taiwanese guy? Who the fuck do you shoot? You wouldn't be able to know. You just have to throw in your fucking cards and say, that's it, I quit. Or you got to kill them all. Or, and this I heard from a comedian, and I thought it was a brilliant fucking idea. There is a solution, although it might be controversial. You'd have to play a game of war based on shirts and skins. And the Chinese would have to be the shirts because, after all, that's where they're made, right? And the Taiwanese would have to be skins. And if that doesn't work, then we'd have to have a secret pact with the Taiwanese people that if China invades, they'll go fucking wide open with their eyes so we can tell them from the fucking Chinese. Right? Just open them fuckers up, just until the war is over. Then you can go back to being blindfolded by dental floss when we're done. But it's crazy. It's just crazy. I don't even, how the fuck could how do you manage a war in Taiwan when they're the same people as the people that are invading? I don't understand. Poor Canada. Canada's falling apart. Like, it took all that. Look how long that little cuckold fucking Justin Trudeau was a politician and in charge of that country, and how fucked up from the floor up he is. He fucked that whole country up. Look at England. England, you can't even say anything illegal online or offensive.
Trudeau
right?
is not in charge of Canada anymore.
No. He's stepping down. He still is, but he's stepping down.
Oh,
Look at Heidi M is speechless. But how the hell do you tell these people apart? You're supposed to be their fucking ally. It's not much different in Korea. It really isn't. The only difference is we're heading north and they're coming south. So that's your first clue. The guys that are in front of you are your enemy. But what happens when they all mix in? Now you're kind of fucked up. That's the problem we had in Vietnam. Do you know that, Cletus? Nobody talks about that, but that was real. Who was your fucking enemy? They all looked exactly the same. So what do you do now? You go into a village, you don't know if all of them people are bad or if only a couple of them are or if none of them are. And so what did our soldiers decide to do? Just take out, destroy the whole village. We ain't got time to sort this shit out. And I kind of don't disagree with that because it's like, you put me in a war zone where my enemy is just unidentifiable from the fucking good guy that I'm supposed to be defending. That's a bad. We've already experienced that kind of bullshit in Vietnam, and then we want to hold it against our soldiers. They didn't decide to start that war. The politicians did. What a calamity!
Fair points. Fair point.
Great, right? What else you got, Cletus? Bring something to the table because I'm making nonsense noise over here.
He said, "Bring something to the table." I don't know. I'm still trying to fucking figure out a solution to this fucking internet that will really take fucking hold, but it's really not even a solution that's achievable that I see because it's more a solution for society, not just the internet, right? Because the internet essentially is society.
Right, and nobody looks for the common ground. They all look for the differences. Right? They all look for the drama. They don't look for understanding. They don't look for fucking commonality. They just look for. I mean, it's crazy. People like so many of our food industries have been fucking taken over by multinational corporations that are controlled by China. Your hog farms, your fucking beef farms are going there. Your fucking food farms. And what do we do as Americans? We complain China bought more fucking farmland. They tried to buy farmland next to the fucking base that contains our best air base. Yeah, they create the fentanyl that pours into our streets. I mean, if Trump's going to have a war on drugs, then the labs in China should be included in what needs to be eradicated, right? What do you think, Cletus?
I would agree. I would also agree it should impact our pharmaceutical companies that are within the U.S.
and that are run and connected to all the criminal. So he says he's going to do it, and he should. If he doesn't do this, I'm going to be very offended. If he doesn't treat the drug cartels like he did ISIS, as he said, then we got a major fucking problem. It's more of the same. I don't want to hear about a war on drugs where there isn't any military engagement against the enemy. If we're at war with somebody, we're Americans. We want to blow shit the fuck up. Not talk about catching somebody with a boat full of cocaine. That ain't a war.
I would recommend the very first thing he do is make it illegal to advertise pharmaceuticals at all.
There you go.
You can't advertise fucking cigarettes. Why the fuck do you advertise pharmaceuticals? Because all you're doing is you're giving people an idea to go to their doctor to say, hey, I was thinking about this because I saw it and it sounds like it can treat the symptoms that I have. And the doctor therefore says, oh, well, then you must have this. So, yeah, let's put you on that. It's fucking crazy.
Well, I want to say this is kind of interesting. This is people now they're talking about a bird flu. How many people in America ever question the burning of millions and a billion chickens? Basically, a billion chickens were burnt up in fucking what they claim to be accidental fires at different chicken farms. How the fuck do a billion birds? You can't save any of them? I don't understand. Why did here, let me just say this. In China, they've burned way more than that. Does anybody know why they were burning their fucking birds?
Well, I mean, in fairness, there's 5.63 billion of us on the fucking internet that could replace those birds at any fucking given day and never find our way out.
Well, when the bird flu strikes a flock of birds on a farm, all of them are destroyed. All of them. And here's the point is that's known. It's commonly known. It's happened in the Middle East. It's happened in China. It's happened in different places around the globe. Look, when we had the mad cow disease, how many cows were destroyed in Europe? Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is in America, under the Biden administration, We had 1 billion chickens go up in flames. Do you really think that was just some accidental motherfucking fire? Or they were burning these chickens because of the bird flu? What's more likely here?
I mean, it would be more likely that they were burning them because of the bird flu.
Well, that's been around in this country now for years, since 2020, folks. Yeah, and people are going to die from it, but it seems like less people die when America gets involved, right? I don't know what it is about this country, but every place we get involved, many, 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 many more people have to die. It's like, why? Let it run its course, right? You guys are worried there's too many people on Earth? Let it run its course. That's all. I mean, that's the best you can do, because the human will adapt and you'll get herd immunity or you won't. But don't do everything you can to keep herd immunity from coming to be real. And don't do everything you can to isolate people, because then now you're setting up the perfect place to fucking make it last longer and ultimately in the end kill more people, which is kind of what we witnessed, because there isn't a group of I don't know what it is, man. I'm an American, you're an American, there's millions and millions of us, yet there's no common ground or common place to congregate and discuss anything. It's crazy. I always ask you allergic to eggs when getting a certain vaccine. I love eggs. Do you eat eggs, Curtis? Or Cletus?
Curtis. Yes, I do.
I fucking love eggs. That's why I set tomorrow up for home fries, steak, and eggs. Man, I'm feeling like I should just make it after this fucking stream. But yeah. I don't know. I had a stream on here the other night. I got on late and I stayed on real late. Insane, Cletus.
Yeah, I saw that.
Holy fuck. I bet I got like 2 views the whole time. I don't even know.
Maybe you should bring on Dago and you'll get more.
Oh, man. That's fucked up.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man. I like my eggs over easy there, Lucky. No, I did. I had a decent sized crowd, but it was interesting. Well, Cletus, what do you got for us? Anything?
I don't have fucking nothing.
What's the name of that streamer that's being a fucking moron that need not be?
Oh, the Lore Lodge?
Yeah.
He's heading down a really bad fucking road.
I'm gonna burn his ass up tomorrow.
And I would my best suggestion, my recommendation for the public at large is to not pay any fucking attention to his true crime streams, not address them, not speak on them, not anything, because if you do, you're absolutely taking the fucking bait of the trap he has laid, because all he wants is more subs from a genre that he has not delved into. So what does he do? He comes out and sticks his toe in it in the most outlandish fucking way possible, because he knows that will undoubtedly get him more fucking people watching to hear what he's got to say. But yeah,
man, I'll tell you what, we're the first shiny object, and we all fucking remember that commercial where everybody's running into that hole? It was an investment commercial. Everybody's running into this big fucking bottomless hole, 360-degree hole, and they're all running across the fucking lawn into the fucking hole. That's a representation of the internet, man.
It is.
And I in no way, shape, or form am I right on everything. Not even fucking close. But the effort to think is put in to some extent. If not the effort to think of common sense, the effort to insult or the effort to make fun of are there, right? So it's always an effort.
We're all just one of 5.63 billion motherfucking burning chickens. So cluck, cluck, motherfucker.
Cluck. Well, there you go, Cletus. That was a good ending for Cletus. Cluck, cluck, motherfucker. I cluck you and cluck yours. Oh, my God. What did Grant say? Grant said, I risked my life for a good piece of chicken. Oh, man. Chicken is awesome. You got to admit. But there's another thing, too. Why is a cow called beef and a pig called pork and a chicken called chicken and a turkey called turkey? Someone needs to break that shit down. I don't understand. Fucking a cow is ground beef. Okay. It's a steak. Completely unfucking related to the animal itself. It's just strange how a few animals have, their existence is erased the minute we convert them to food. You can't even mention their name. It's crazy. But that's the human equation there. And who knows? Let me just say I can say this much. I don't know. Someone had a beef with a cow. Some people do have a beef with a cow. A lot of people don't know. How many people know? I'll ask this question. How many people know that the current cow that you're familiar with, is nowhere near what that was when we first started putting them in fucking herds? Does anybody know that? Did you guys know that? They used to be an angry fucking beast with horns. Stout fucking horns. Not ones like a deer, but more like not even well, they come out the side of their head. A cow was a very you weren't fucking with cows back in the day. You wouldn't the reality of what that animal was before mankind got involved it's just insane. They were like longhorns. Yeah, there you go. But the original cows, that's what they were. And I don't think they call them longhorns. There's a different name for them, but it's just like corn. Corn isn't natural. Corn was the combining of two different types of fucking grass, a grass and a weed or something. So it's kind of insane. The amount of, I mean, we've had a lot of influence. It's actually for the better. I'm not complaining. I do love my fucking steaks. And I do love chicken. And I do love, like, I got a big fucking rack of pork ribs for tomorrow. I'm going to fucking slow cook them bitches all day. And then I'm just going to sit until I explode. Yeah, I love corn too. Of all the vegetables, that's the best one. Here's some other shit, folks. I'm going to give you just my personal opinion about the beloved dog. And it's a very simple opinion. Stop feeding your fucking dog anything that isn't pure meat. I don't give a fuck if it's frozen dried meat or if it's fucking dried meat or if it's stop with the peas and the fucking the corn and the fucking berries. And the dog is a fucking carnivore. It does not have the capacity to fucking process complex carbohydrates. It has the fucking capacity to fucking process protein. That's why you've never seen a fucking fat dog until you've seen a fucking modern dog. These poor dogs and all their sicknesses and all of the fucking shit that they come up with, you got to stop feeding them anything that isn't pure meat. I can chew corn into oblivion. It puts itself back together in the toilet. That's fucking true, Carl. I'm telling you, modern dogs love truck. Carl's got some kind of metabolism. It reassembles corn. Can you replant it? I don't know if you shit outside, Carl, in the days you eat corn. Let us know how your crop is. It's not a matter that they love meat. It's not a matter that they love eat. You show me a dog that you had to chase out of your garden because it was stealing a green pepper. Show me one. Show me a dog that grabbed your strawberries. Show me. You show me a dog that's starving to death and put him in a garden of fucking vegetables and he'll starve to death like you put him in the middle of the desert. Period. It's just that's the kind of animal it is. You think a wolf eats fucking corn? I mean, these animals starve to death in the wild. Why aren't they eating berries like the deer? Why aren't they eating grass like the cow? It's because they're carnivores. Some dogs will eat a lot of different things they shouldn't be eating, but you're their fucking owner. You're giving it to them. I mean, you also give them that wonderful fucking relaxation of a life. You know, you're everything to the dog. But I'm just saying to you, if you want to stop your vet visits and the concerns of illnesses with your dog, stop giving your dog anything that isn't 100% meat and when it's fed. Period. They'll eat meat breakfast, lunch, and fucking dinner. They don't mind. They love it. Pumpkin in my dog's food for weight loss. Nah, man. These fucking they're being taught in school these things. Let me ask you, folks. Would you say it's accurate to suspect that dogs are actually descendants of wolves? Right? And there's wild dogs out there. There's hyenas. There's wolves, and and someone has to. You literally, a dog could literally starve to death in a fucking garden. It's crazy, man. Right? And yet every one of these foods that are healthy foods are foods based on what you and I would eat. Well, they're not you and I. They're dude, if trapped in your house, if God forbid you passed away in a home and this dog had no place to get any other nourishment but your dead body, it's more likely that dog would fucking eat you before it died. Okay? Yeah, your dog will eat worms. I'm going to tell you two things. Cletus is out of here, but I got more people in here than I did earlier. I'm going to tell you something that will be with you in the last moments of your life. You're not going to be able to forget what I'm going to tell you right now. Okay? Are you guys ready for this? This could be this could be terrible. This could be mind altering. Are you guys ready for this piece of factual information? Because it's fucking. I've said it before, but I didn't put any weight behind it, so I've said it just in passing. But it is kind of a horrific thing to be aware of. And once made aware of this, you're not going to be able to forget this, right? It's just not going to go away. And so what is this? What is this fucking thing that I could share with you that you could share with all of your fucking known associates, enemies included? And if they listen and they understand that what you're sharing with them is an inevitable fucking event that will take place in everybody's life, but very few. There are some exceptions. And that is that after you die, your brain has up to 11 minutes of fucking functioning when you're dead. And you got to fucking wonder what in the fuck is going on in there after you physically have died. You're going to have 11 minutes to yourself as your brain starts to fucking fall away. That's fucking horrific. Average of 3 to 11 minutes. So somewhere in there. Can you imagine, folks, what we got to face now? And now go back and say just I could connect it to other things, but just think of that. You're dead, but your brain ain't. But what is it that you're using all day to communicate and do the things you're doing? Well, it's your fucking brain. And so if your brain doesn't die as quickly as the rest of your body and it maintains itself for another 3 to 10 minutes, that's fucking terrible. What the fuck are you going to be thinking about? What the hell's going to be going on in your head? Is it going to be like when you take a fucking nap? And here's another thing too, right? Right, here's another fucking thing. But just think about that, folks. When you're dead, just remember you're not dead. You got up to 11 minutes of fucking brain activity. And brain activity, when there is no brain activity, they call that the end of life. Fair enough? That's when they determine to disconnect you from the machines. There is no brain activity. There's nothing we can do to promote brain activity. We've tried everything, and bam. So I don't even want to know what the fuck's going on in my brain when I'm dead. But I'm going to have to deal with that when I die. All of us are. So, yeah, that's a wonderful fucking fact to carry around in your pocket. I tell you, when you die, I suspect that when you're dying, this particular thought will come back into your head at that moment in time. You may not think about this the rest of your natural fucking life. But at the very end, you'll remember some asshole named Sergeant Friday telling you this horrific story that your brain will maintain function while you're dying. Your body's dead, but your brain keeps going. Yikes, man. Here's something else too, folks, that I figure this is probably important. This is a self-created piece of information that I think carries a lot of weight. Okay? Here's what I think, folks. I'm going to haunt you, Sergeant. Yeah, but here, let me finish up on that topic. Aren't there religions that say after you die, you get judged? Uh-oh. What if those people are right? What if those people are correct? No, all your organs will shut down and no longer the mechanical functions of your body will stop. Your brain will keep going, Heidi. Your brain ain't going to perish while your body. I imagine it could. Like I said, there are exceptions to the rule. But is that what these folks were saying generations, thousands of years ago? That when you die, you're going to be judged? Is that what's going on inside our heads? Wow. That would be fucking insane, right? I mean, I just meant because I'm so... No, it's fine. I mean, what I'm saying is true, but it is kind of dumb when it comes to the level of dumbness. But now we can all carry that to our graves and beyond, apparently. So remember, as you're passing on, remember what old Sergeant Friday reminds you about. Your brain's going to keep going for up to 11 minutes. So Yeah, there is that to look forward to. So death isn't death. It's up to 11 minutes after death. I'm sure if your head explodes or something, your brain isn't there to maintain consciousness. I don't. Maybe that's the best way to go. You just pack explosives around your head and detonate it. That way, your thoughts are scattered to the four corners, right? I got something else too. First, I want to qualify this with a question, or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just tell you something that I've concluded from dreaming. This is what this has been extrapolated from several decades of dreaming, as we're all familiar with that we have dreams, right? We all experience dreams. And here's something I think might be true. And you really need to watch out for this and be careful of this when you're dreaming. Is that in your dream, and in anyone's dreams, as far as I understand it, none of us see our reflection in a mirror. In other words, we don't see ourselves in the dream. We see everything around us. And I think, and I sort of fear, that if you see your own reflection in a dream, that at that moment in time, you'll cease to exist. You'll pass away. Mission accomplished, says Great Pearl. So look, folks, I'm telling you, when you're dreaming, do everything you can to avoid a mirror, because your own reflection will be the end of you. And I think that all of us in the room will agree that when we're dreaming, we don't see ourselves physically in that dream. We observe or are interacting in the dream. Yeah, so be careful. Word up for dreams. Dreams forever. So when you're dreaming, you better keep mirrors out of your fucking mind tonight when you go to bed. Because the last thing you want to do is see your own reflection in a dream. That's just a piece of advice from your Uncle Sarge. I don't know how true it is, but since the internet's full of drama and bullshit, I figured I could conjure up some of my own. Maybe I ought to change this to the Conjuring Show. Oh my God. Can you imagine? What the actual fuck? Ghetto superstar. Oh my God. That's it. So be careful when you die. There's 11 minutes left of your mind working. And also when you dream while you're alive, you don't want to fucking see your own reflection in a dream. These two things are true. The brain thing is actually 100% true. The dream thing is it's me conjuring up based on all the dreams I've had, No judgment. Black and black. A blackness you've never seen. I don't know what that means. When I'm falling, I would wake up instantly. Man, I've had a lot of crazy fucking dreams. Do you guys remember that famous photo, that painting of the dogs playing cards? Do you guys remember that? I remember falling, and when I landed in a room of alligators playing cards and talking and smoking. I was freaked the fuck out. There's a few dreams that we all have that are memorable dreams. They scare you, or they remind you of something, or warn you of something. I had a dream. I was shopping for, this is back a long time ago. I was into cars when I was young. So I was looking for a hobby, something to do. My friends had motorcycles, so I started looking around for motorcycles. Well, within a period of a week or a month or 2 weeks, but within a short period of time, I had the dream of this motorcycle, me riding it, and me crashing off the median on a local highway. It's an area I drive by all the time. I go through this area on the expressway. So I had this dream that I was driving this motorcycle, and for whatever reason, I crashed into the median and woke up. Well, I had the exact same dream again, not long after. And that's when I just said, I'm not going to buy a motorcycle. I'm not going to own a motorcycle. I'm not going to be driving one on the road. I'm going to get into the cars again. And that's what brought me back into the car hobby. How crazy is that? Yeah, no motorcycles for me. 2 dreams of me crashing in the same place on the same stretch of road in the same way. Yeah. I imagine I could have bought the motorcycle and driven everywhere but there, but it's such a common place for my area to drive through on these expressways. All of my area around me is connected by an expressway. Whatever township you live in, in the county that I'm part of are all connected from an expressway, so it's kind of nice. Yeah, I've always been. I like the raw power. I like the sensation of stomping on that pedal and it slams you back in the seat. Wake up to see people go back to sleep, and I'm right back where I left off in my dream. Like, yeah, I wish I had a pause button. Some dreams you want to keep going. Yeah, maybe the universe was telling me something. You're right. So I just, I took 2 dreams of the same type, and that stuck with me. And there was no way I was going to fucking buy me a motorcycle. But hell no. Enough said on that, right? I mean, sometimes, maybe it meant nothing at all. Maybe it's just a latent fear I have of crashing a motorcycle. I've got friends and people that have died. And, we all know the deals with a motorcycle. You're not going to win a battle with a fucking 3,000-pound fucking object. And you're sitting on a 600-pound, 800-pound machine that has no protection but a front tire in front of you. Hell with that. His brother was killed in a wreck. See? Yeah, I could see that happening. Great, bro. Unbelievable. But remember that shit with the brain, folks. That stuff will live on for up to 11 minutes once you die. I'm curious to know what the hell I'm going to be thinking about, if I'm thinking at all. Who knows what part of the brain they're talking about? But it sounds to me that how the hell would people say decades, centuries ago, that when you pass away, you're judged? I mean, I know people say they judge what's in your heart, but what's in your heart is in your brain, right? What's in your heart is in your brain. Playing poker with reptiles. Yeah, I don't know what game they were playing, but I was terrified. Yeah, I wish I could go back to bed and the dream would resume, because I have pretty decent dreams. I don't. Although I had one the other night that was kind of fucked up. I was kind of fucked up. A good friend of mine told her father that she slept with me. Right? And he was real ill, and he was in the end of his life. And he came down to shoot me, kill me, which is what I would have done, because I was his best friend. Right? And imagine your best friend sleeping with your daughter, and you're going to go off into you're dying of cancer or something. And he came down to shoot me, and I don't know how it ended up working out. But I turned his hand, and as he pulled the trigger, he shot at me twice. He nicked me. Didn't do any real damage. And as he went to shoot more, I grabbed his hand and turned it, and the gun pointed at him, and he shot himself. And that was the end of it. But I was like, phew. And I woke up from that dream. And the only good thing about that dream was it was fucking fake. But I could see his daughter doing something like that too, because I do know her. And now that wouldn't happen. Obviously, he's passed on. But can you imagine? Your best friend comes down to kill you, and you end up killing him. That's a fucked up dream. What if you faint, have a heart attack? Well, if you have a heart attack and you die, then your brain is going to continue. That's the whole point. Once your heart stops moving blood and oxygen around your body, your organs stop to function. That's death. So let's say somebody shoots you in the heart, and you're dead. That's it. Your heart's exploded in your chest. Your mind will live on to up to 11 minutes. Yeah, I can agree with that too, Carl. Some of the best movies, even short clips, come from our dreams. And it's kind of weird when you think about it, because the whole point of sleeping is to rejuvenate your mind and your body, right? And yet while you're fucking sleeping, you're dreaming. Oh, my guess is this is the morbid part. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it is crazy, but just remember when you're dreaming, avoid mirrors. You don't want that curse. So when you dream, stay away from mirrors, and I suggest you live a very upbeat kind of life, because that last 11 minutes that we're all going to experience but could never share might be fucking terrifying. I mean, I don't even know. Imagine if you drown and your brain keeps going for 11 more minutes. I mean, holy fuck. I don't even want to know. I remember my dreams after I wake up, but I do have dreams every night. I do dream every night. And so there's so many of them stacked on top of so many of them. Plus I nap, and I dream when I nap. So I get 2 new episodes a day. What do you think about that, Carl? Like they also believe we should have an open window. Well, sooner or later, somebody's going to open a door. So if they're worried about being able to get out, don't worry. That time will appear. Right? I never heard that you shouldn't, that people want an open window in case you pass away. I never heard of that before. But I have heard of that judgment that when you die, you get, and that makes sense. My balls it. That's part of my Tourette's. That's the only thing that comes out, though. It's a replay of your life for 11 minutes, but you don't know that to be a fact. There's no way to verify that. So, I mean, that's like hopes and prayers, bro. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. We don't know what the hell is this. If there's any thoughts at all, the best case scenario is that there's no thought, right? And that it's just the brain, it's just running out of juice or whatever, like a dead battery or something. But that, you don't have any thoughts. That would be the best outcome in my personal opinion. But I'm thinking those last 11 minutes, I don't know. Maybe a lot of you will leave here today and you'll be afraid of death because of that. Who knows? So you better keep your ass alive. Put that healthcare system into debt for like 20 or 30 million so you can get another 60 days of life. That's what people do. It's kind of crazy. I'm more of the mind that if the life is going to end, I would rather not know. But if you do know, then I think you got to find a way to come to terms with it, not be talked into fucking multi-million-dollar treatments that are going to net and torture, for all you know, right? Carl's checking out guys. That's just fucking peachy. I'm thinking in the Netherlands or Germany, where you people are now moving. Oh no, that's where the window open is. It might be the Netherlands or Germany or some of those Scandinavian countries. They're a bit freakish, aren't they? Maybe the brain is shorting out until it stops. No one knows. Nobody knows. That's the catch-22. But it is a fact. It's a salient fact that I wish I was never given. And now I figure the best thing I could do with that fact is share it with everybody else that wishes now they never knew. Right? The old adage, misery loves company, folks. Misery does love company. And I don't know. It was like, I don't know, everything is a conspiracy theory. And sometimes those conspiracy theories are labeled a conspiracy theory, but they're not because they're based on fact. So usually when politicians are calling things a conspiracy theory, chances are that isn't in fact a conspiracy theory. But it seems like every single thing that happens on Earth, like we create weather, we manipulate the weather, we do everything that happens. A satellite shot a laser from space. And we come up with all kinds of crazy fucking shit. And I suppose maybe the power of a hurricane, which is just beyond any power that we've ever unleashed and could unleash. I mean, think of how many hundreds of fucking miles of devastation it can leave. It's not just a city that it wipes out. It wipes out all kinds of different areas and wetlands, wherever it goes, right? I mean, our weapons might match the power of a tornado, but that's because tornadoes aren't long-lived. But not a hurricane. I don't see us being able to harness the energy to do something like that. Soon we're all going to have a robot wife. Well, this is something too. This has always confused me with you women that are like, a man is chauvinist if he thinks a woman should be in the kitchen. But in all fairness, let's break it down. In the biological department, there's an argument to be made, right? I mean, women are created with fucking milk and eggs. So what better place than to have them in the kitchen, right? I mean, just on a biological argument, it makes sense. What do you ladies think out there? Right? What do you think, Carl? I'm not getting any response from the chat room. Are you all stunned? Lucky you don't mind being in the kitchen. But you see, there is a logical way to come to the conclusion that women were made to be in the kitchen. I don't know. Yeah. We all know there isn't 40 hours a week doing laundry and keeping the house clean. Come on now. Come on, Gray Pearl. Come on. There's a lot of things you could do to fill your day that don't include cooking and and staying in the if you put in a good 40 hours a week, you could probably get dinners set up and fucking frozen or put away until the day they're needed. And you know, and then get the next 2 weeks off. Fuck, I had a stepmother that would make 128 dozen fucking Christmas cookies. Not 127 or 129, but 128 dozen fucking cookies. Great pearl, great pearl. I used to have it like that. No, I get it. I think that, you know, I think anybody could do what they want, but I don't think there's anything inappropriate or shameful about a woman being like a stay-at-home mother. I think that's awesome. The woman that was doing all my advertising was an advertising exec that handled local companies, local businesses advertising on the radio. And she had a kid and then got pregnant, and then her husband started talking about her being a stay-at-home mom. And she didn't know what to do. And I said that it's been stigmatized. Modern society has stigmatized and trained or taught or tried to impress on women that they could be whatever they want to be, no matter what, including being a mother, and you can. But in today's world, where you know schools aren't teaching Einstein's theories, right? They're teaching fucking social issues. That if there was ever a time in history where homeschooling or being a stay-at-home mom and keeping an eye on their curriculum, and if there was ever a time more in need of that, it's today. More so now than in the past when they did it. A lot of people also probably forget that one of the main reasons there was a woman in the home and a man out working was because they had many more children than we're having today. So, you know, you could have a family of fucking 12. That wouldn't be uncommon. A family of 8, 6. You know, and so that's where this whole concept came forward. It wasn't chauvinistic. It was more everybody feeling the need and doing their part. Let's be real. I miss men from the time to time, but the ones left over are such sissies. Yeah. Okay. Well, it might be true from where you are. I don't think all men are sissies. I think, yeah, I'm sure there are some. But even like, look, the worst thing for a guy is to become single. And once you get past that 2 or 3 year mark of being single and not in any serious relationship, it becomes too easy to want to stay single. That's the one big catch-22. Because there's nothing that needs to be done or that has to be done or should be done that you're not going to do. And, you know, you get accustomed, right? Like I only wear my stuff one day at a time. But I'll take my socks off in the fucking before I go to bed, and I'll just throw them on the living room floor. And I just wander off the fucking bed and go to sleep. I pick them up and put them down in the laundry, usually the next day. But I don't have that conscious organizational thought, right? To take and put my stuff in the sink and throw this in the garbage and put the socks in the. I don't have that kind of organizational thought when it's time for bed. For me, when it's time for bed, it's time for bed. That's where I'm headed. Yeah. Run off with a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman. There's something a woman could have done. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, if a guy selling vacuums is the greener grass, I say, yeah, kick off your shoes and run through that lawn. Have at it, honey. Holy fuck. Yeah, I don't particularly care to remarry either. You know, and when here's the other thing too. I mean, especially coming from an era where being the breadwinner mattered. So after the divorce, that ability to continue to earn decent income never left. And the difference now is that income, there's nowhere else to spend it but on yourself, or to put it away for yourself, or to put it away for yourself and leave some for your kid if that worked out. But I mean, once that starts to kick in, it gets tough. And I think this goes for both men and women to want to go back into a relationship. Yeah, your mom's got, but as guys, we're just not thinking that way. Like I may leave some stuff out on the sink or a toothbrush out or something because I got behind or whatever, and then I come back later, I straighten it out. But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. When you're single, and I've been single now for, I've had on and off girlfriends, but not a committed relationship where, there was any talk of moving in together or doing cohabitating, I don't let them go that long. And one of the other catch-22s for someone that's single, a guy, for me, is that a lot of girls they've got children, right? So, that makes it not as appealing. Oh, here's another fact. Oh, God, you guys are going to not like this one at all. Maybe I should end the show because this is a devastating fact. Okay? I'm going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about it for a second. But some of you that keep replying to the chat room, and maybe even some of you that have not, okay? What do you think? What do you think as a parent? What do you think as a parent could cause your child 100 times more likely to be molested? What one thing do you think could result in placing your children in a situation where they're 100 times more likely to be molested than not? Can anybody come up with any idea what that might be? The answer is fucking horrifying. Yeah, I could do long-term and not married too, either way. But do you guys... Yeah, Great Pearl hit that like fucking right out of the park. A step parent. A step parent is 100 times, you have a 100 times more likely chance of your child being molested with the presence of a step parent. And can I say, I didn't know that to be true. See, ignoring them. You could put a whole bunch of fucking things out there that you would think really, like leaving them with an unknown babysitter, or there's a whole bunch of things, neglect. I don't even know. But that one is like, and Gray hit it out of the park. A step parent makes your child 100 times more likely to be molested than not. They never, ever, ever share that or talk about that. That's fucked up. But I do say this because I used the internet for quite a long time and met a lot of different girls on the internet. And one rule that I seem to always stand by was, if you're a girl on the internet and you're posting pictures of you and your child, I really can't even, I don't have a desire to talk to you. I just don't. I think that's the dumbest thing you could possibly do, is go onto a dating site and have pictures of you and your children around you. Now, if they're adult children, of course that doesn't count. Okay? But you're underage teenage children from 18 backwards. And anytime I saw a girl, no matter what she said in her profile, no matter whether she was great looking or not, I would completely avoid that girl. I used to send messages to girl as a courtesy. I'd say that, I'm not trying to be rude, but you have to be aware that you're on the internet, and you've got to be careful that a pedophile that doesn't target you for a relationship to get to your kids. You got to be careful. Some women would be like, dear God, I never thought of that. But the majority of them are like, go fuck yourself. Okay. Can do, will do. And, I pray for your kids, because that's just a stupid fucking thing to do. But, to this day, there should be simple common sense instructions that people are given before they enter into stuff like that. And to me, I never, ever. Matter of fact, I've got a gazillion photos of my daughter and me doing different things, car shows, all the stuff you've heard me talk about. And not a single person, not friend or family, has access to those pictures that I've put up on Facebook. I put them there to store them. But you cannot access any of my daughter's pictures, man. I'm not having it. I don't share it. I don't ever. I mean, everybody knows I have a daughter. But, yeah, Heidi, you may be showing your children off to potential predators. And now, knowing that statistic, that it's 100 times more likely for a step parent to get in the picture for your kids to get molested, that should be a wake-up call. And, and that women should be, this information is stuff that, like I say, we as a society are just dumb fucks. Particular data like this information should be common knowledge. It really should. I'm not saying every step parent's going to molest someone else's children. That's not the case. That's not what that statistic says. But of all the mistakes and all of the things you could do with your child, that one seems to be heads and tails above any other fucking decision you make. I post once in a while on Facebook some funny shit. There's one thing I like some of the old slapstick comedy. There's a doctor and there's a patient sitting on a chair, and the doctor lifts up his leg and taps his knee to see how his reflexes are. And this fucking guy's leg goes wild, kicks the doctor in the head, knocks him out of the fucking chair, kicks himself in the face, kicks everything. His leg just won't stop kicking. It's crazy. Oh my! And it all starts with the doctor checking his reflexes. It's too fucking funny. I don't even use Facebook. I Facebook Marketplace. I browse around there, get an idea what cars are out there and different stuff like that. Oh, I did show you that, right? Okay. Yeah, that shit was stupid funny. Goes to check someone's reflex and it's just kicking the shit out of everybody. The lamp, the table, the chair, the guy, the doctor. Yeah, and I don't even know really why I streamed it, to be honest with you. Other than yakkadoodle for a little bit. And there's really nothing to me that's, we got terrorist attacks. We got all kinds of chaos going on. And I don't know what to say. It is. I sold a lawn tractor and a wood splitter on Marketplace. Yeah. Yeah. Got to be careful on some of that stuff. I mean, you got to be smart. But if they're coming to your house, I would sit out. I think I did sell something from Facebook Marketplace. I got a whole bunch of car parts that are of no use to me, and they're brand new. That I've acquired over the years that need to be sold. A lot of good intake manifolds and different parts for a small block Chevy. Sometimes I give them away, though. That's the other thing. Like, when I sell something to people, I never look to get as much as I can out of it. I always consider the amount of use and or enjoyment that I got from whatever it is I'm selling. And I usually sell stuff for half of what someone else will. I sold a set of cylinder heads that a buddy of mine is. I took them off my car, upgraded the cylinder heads, blah, blah, blah. So the heads I took off were decent heads. And his father had a 70 Chevy truck. And he's like, oh, man, how much you're going to want? I'm afraid to ask how much you want for them. Because they were GM aluminum. Not that it matters, maybe to a guy. Well, GM aluminum fast burn heads. So they're a good head made by General Motors. And I said to him, give me $50, man. You can have the pair. And those heads sell for probably a pair of those heads back in the day, brand new, probably would have sold for $1,000, $800, so $400 a piece. But I got enough enjoyment, enough use out of them that it wasn't. I don't know. I just never really felt comfortable if I've used something to try to make money off it. And it's rare for me to get anything from it. I give stuff away. When I'm done with it, or I don't have any use for it, or maybe I've got something I don't use, I just give it away. If there's somebody that needs something and I happen to have it, I'm weird that way. Someone's got to find something, Gray Pearl. If someone hacks you, no, it's not even a matter of feel. I guess I feel good. I don't feel bad about it, but I just don't like. I had a car motor. And the cylinder heads on that car motor, and it was only a 4 or 5 year old motor. But those exact cylinder heads you could still buy, and they're the most popular cylinder head for the setup I had. The heads themselves are worth $2,000 new. And I gave him the whole motor complete for the work he did on my car, which was change the entire motor, fix the wire. He did a whole bunch of work on my car. But rather than pay him, he had a couple of $1,000s worth of labor at best. I said, give me $1,000 and keep the motor. Now, that motor cost me $8,500. And the problem with the motor was you couldn't keep running it. It had a bearing issue. But the problem with the motor wasn't like some multi-$1,000 fix. The parts to fix the motor came to like $89. But there was obviously a lot of labor involved, taking it apart. So in the end, he got probably a value. If that motor didn't have that noise, that motor would have been worth every bit of the $7,500, every fucking bit of it. And so he got the motor for labor and $1,000. And yeah, I don't know. I just never really thought it was a time to make as every fucking pinching penny you can get. Now, when I'm doing business, I'm kind of the same way. There's a profit I need to make, but I don't go looking to scram more profit or buy something substandard to save some money. I just don't do that. Who's got time to do that for fucking pennies? It just drives me crazy. He was happier than hell. Happier than hell. This wasn't just some plain ass motor. This is like a street strip motor. And I upgraded. I went to the same motor, but they created a different cubic inch and added another 80, and added another like 78 horse or 80 horsepower to the motor that I was putting in over what I had taken out. But I could have fixed what had been taken out and spent way less money. I just didn't want to. Like now, if this motor goes bad, then I'm going to stick 1,000 horsepower fucking GM motor in it. The motor's 30 grand, but it is what it is. But it's 1,000 fucking horsepower. What do you think about that, Carl? You think you and your 5.63 billion followers would be impressed with 1,000 horsepower and a 3,000 pound car? Did he keep? Oh no, he kept it. He got it all machined and put back together. He was offered $5,000 for that motor in the condition it was when it was given to him by me. He was offered $5 grand for that motor by an engine builder. Because nothing in that engine is cheap. Every part that's in that is made for. Queen Carl would be impressed. Carl went to bed. Yep. Back in the day. However fast that car was, this one's probably twice as fast. Just to be fair there, Lucky. It's a terrifying amount of horsepower. You tap the gas pedal in my car, and that car is going to rip fucking forward, and you're not going to stop it with the brakes. So you can't even play silly with the car. You got to watch what you're doing. So and it's a light vehicle, very light. So power to weight ratio is extremely high. Nonetheless, folks, I don't know where else to go with any of this. No, I had it designed in a way that would allow me to drive it on the street, which I do. Normally, after every stream during the warm months, during the once the salt is off the road, until the salt is put on the roads, I drive that car constantly, every day of the week. And you could take it to work, you take it shopping, go over, do whatever you want with it. But you lay into that gas pedal, and you better be prepared for some shit to start happening. Brian cell donations, truly. Some of them need to GFM for some brain cell donations. Oh, okay. Tomorrow your house is going to smell yummy. Yeah, you know what? I'm probably one of the few people. I got to clean my oven, man. Today I made that steak in there and it fucking smoke poured out of the oven. Not poured out, but it came out from all the fucking splatter. Yeah, I need an auto clean oven. That's what I need. And then I need an auto clean house. Maybe I should work on inventing the devices that would provide you with an automatically cleaned house from floor to ceiling. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Push a button on your way out the fucking door. Bam, you come home, your house is sparkling clean. Oh, I think we can do that now. We can get one of Elon Musk's robots. Right? I'll tell you some fucking creepy shit that's going to happen, right? Someone's going to come home one day with one of them fucking robots and see that the fucking robot went through their porn magazines. That's going to be fucked up. Now what do you do? Walk into the fucking robot surfing Pornhub or something. You got to be like, damn, you got to go. Pullman PD has a robot dog. Look at Lucky. It's like, what the fuck? It's coming. It's coming. If they're making them motherfuckers copy us or mimic us, we're in a lot of trouble with these fucking machines. I don't think we got to worry about them turning on us to kill us all. I think we're just adding more idiots to the fucking mix. Artificial intelligence, my fucking balls. Oh my God. It's definitely humans' intelligence and programming. No doubt about it. But And WD-40 everywhere. What's the deal with this WD-40, Lucky? What is your fixation on WD-40? Because it does have many uses. Unreal. Yep, tomorrow I got to go to the dentist. I got a couple of back teeth. Actually, I got 1, 2. I got 4 teeth I want to get replaced. 4 teeth. I need new teeth. Feed the robots. What else would they use? Yeah, can you imagine? Oh my God. This is going to be crazy. Hope it isn't painful. I'm sure it's going to hurt. I'm sure it's going to hurt. I know what they're going to want to say. I got yeah, 6 teeth. Yeah, none in the front. Obviously, none of my front teeth are gone. One behind my, a couple back from my eye teeth is gone. But just pull them out. Don't be a pussy. No, I'm not doing that, Grant. I've actually had professional dental fillings, and I actually have the blue light that cures it. No, I don't clench my jaw. No, and I've known for a couple of years that I should have replaced these teeth, and the dentists that I went to didn't want to fill these teeth. They wanted to just pull them, and I was like, no, we're not pulling them because I'm not going to go pay fucking $6,000 to $10,000 per tooth. I need to get through a couple of years, and that's exactly what I did. So I started filling them myself. I clean them. I use the pick. I scrape them. Then I prime them. Then I put the filling in, hit it with the blue light. And once, I think the cavities, I've had to do that over the last few years. I probably had to replace the cavities a couple of times. But the reason I did that was, A, I wasn't prepared to do it when they're telling me to do it, right? And B, I wasn't going to pull them because that reduces your bone density. So when you go, if you do want to get a new tooth, you can't. You need bone grafts. So that was out of the question. So in other words, it gets more and more complicated. And yeah, I fill them. I don't know if it's called an epoxy. It's it comes in a needle that has special tips that are angled to allow you to get to the cavity. I got the dental tools to scrape the cavity. I can grind it if I want. I normally don't. But you put a primer down it. And the thing with my cavities, folks, is they're at the gum line. So they're difficult cavities to fill. And a dentist says that once they're up there, the tooth is gone. And I agree with them 100%. Their knowledge in dentistry exceeds mine by 1 trillion. However, I thought it was worth the chance to hold out. So tomorrow morning I'm going to go in. I got that. You could buy all this stuff on eBay. I got the blue light. I got it right from eBay. It's got different time settings. You got to read the manuals. And I got those dentist picks. Those things are the sharpest fucking thing I've ever come across. Unbelievably sharp. Sharper than a fucking needle. Okay? Holy Christ, are those things sharp. You got to be careful. Those are like a deadly fucking weapon. Those angled picks, when you get them new, there's surgical steel. Sharpened to unbelievable. I held up the local tooth fairy. There you go. Give me your fucking teeth, lady. I don't want your money. Give me your teeth. What the hell? George Washington had wooden teeth. So what the dentist is going to do tomorrow, because I haven't been to the dentist in a couple of years now. It's 2 or 3 years. It was just before COVID. So it's been more than 2 or 3 years that I started to pursue this, and then COVID went, and then all the appointments went out the fucking window if it wasn't needed emergency surgery. Right? And I had tooth infections and I had to have they wouldn't fill them. They wanted to pull them. Like even my antibiotic. I don't go to Walmart's pharmacy or other pharmacies for antibiotics. I don't even want to say out loud where I get them from. YouTube might ban me. But let me, it suffice it to say, penicillin, amoxicillin, and any other antibiotic all come from the same place. Okay? I don't care what it's meant for. If it's meant for a bird or a fish or a horse or a cow, An antibiotic is an antibiotic. Just never forget that. And that may make sense. That may make you think a little bit. You're close, Heidi. You're close. But there's an easier place than that to get it. Makes his own with some old and oldie rhyme. No. I've got 1,000 500 milligrams, 100. I got 200 amoxicillin here in the house. All right, so I keep them stored in a, kind of like people store cigars, and they're sealed in their bottle. I got them just in case. You never know. I had a toothache. Most toothaches aren't just a cavity. Most toothaches are indicative that an infection is beginning. At least that's been my experience. So sometimes he starts tripping. Sometimes it's antibiotic. Yeah, I do keep those pills all in the same fucking container. Yeah, nut job. And I'm covered for an STD. Look at that, Heidi. That's right. What the hell? Fucking freaks. You people are insane. Who trips? That Joe Rogan does. He takes mushrooms or some shit. I'm not willing to let some chemical enter my brain to alter anything. I got enough problems with it as it is. How about those medicine commercials that tell you could die with an infection to your taint? So you got a diabetic drug that could kill you, okay, by infecting the area between your asshole and your genitals, the taint. Taint here and there, right? They call it the perineum. I couldn't even begin to understand why I would risk taking that fucking pill. If there were no other solution, I don't even know what dying from an ass infection would feel like. I can't imagine it to be very fucking pleasant. So I don't know exactly at that point. I wouldn't have the fucking balls to take that drug if that's one of your side effects. You got to get the fuck out of here with that. Okay. These side effects are killing me, man. You see these side effects on all these fucking medicines. You got what is that stuff with dry skin? I forget what they call that. And the potential side effects from these drugs, or how about when you take an antidepressant and the warning label is that you will have a manic episode? What? I'm trying to prevent manic episodes. That's why I'm on the antidepressant. Au contraire. Eczema. That's it. Yeah, eczema. The crazy drugs for that, or the crazy drugs for fucking depression, and then you get, what do you get? That fucking Tourette, not Tourette. You get involuntary body movements. What do they call that? Where your hand will twitch, your eye will twitch, your cheek muscle will jerk around, your fucking all kinds of involuntary bodily muscle movements. What do you call that? Unfucking believable. You're trying to listen, I don't understand a drug that's to help you get through. No, it's not dyskinesia. It's not that at all. Oh, tardive dyskinesia. That's what it is. Yeah. Which is a fucked up name that nobody ever hears. However, that's one of the side effects of these fucking antidepressants, and it can't be cured once you get it. You got to be out of your fucking mind. You're depressed because you just lost your family in a plane crash. They start prescribing you drugs to try to level you out. And one of these side effects is this fucking body twitch. God knows where it's going to happen. Okay? And then you got to live with that for the rest of your life, which means you're never going to ever be able to forget what the fuck depressed you to begin with, because whatever it was that depressed you put you in the position you were to have involuntary body fucking twitches. Are you serious? What kind of a fucking drug industry is this? You're going to fix my depression with a drug that gives me a fucking reason to be more depressed than if I never took the fucking drug. Yeah, now you're depressed and twitching, but now you're depressed over the twitching. Now you're depressed over the twitching because not only did you lose your fucking family, but you can't even have the balls to go into a nightclub because your fucking head keeps shaking. You know ain't no dude going to approach you. You know no girl's going to talk to you. Holy fuck. I just wanted to get through the fucking loss of my family, you stupid fucking pricks. And now look what you did to me. You made me unable to be social. How about How about the ED medication for guys like me that are hard 10 hours a day and it won't go down? Where's the ED medication for people like me? No. Let's not talk about that guy that's stuck with a fucking hard dick all day long. He doesn't need any medical attention. But the guy that can't get his dick up has all the fucking science. He's got everybody fucking coming to fix his dick. Unbelievable. I mean, they call it erectile dysfunction. Do you think that it means only one way? Antidepressants caused me to attempt suicide because that's the manic episode that they promise you will experience while taking antidepressants. You make that sound like that's a problem. It is when you ain't got no one here to rub it. That's why I'm all bitch all the time. Holy Christ. I don't think I've ever seen uninvited ghetto superstar in here before. Honestly. It's just, I don't even know what to say. I'll tell you what you guys can do, though. Yeah, I am too picky. You're right. That's true, Heidi. That's true. I agree with you 100%. It is a character defect. It is. It is. It is. But, you know, who knows? We're all just who we are. Yeah, I don't know who uninvited ghetto is. Tell us, say something about yourself there, uninvited ghetto superstar. Are you, I don't know, are you a male or are you a female? Are you uninvited ghetto superstar? Leads me to think maybe you're referring to being black. I've been waiting. You and Clue for watching. You mean watching, I think, not waiting. Then they try to give you even more to stop the side effects. Yeah, this is what's insane. The side effects, some of these side effects are deadly. Go look up infection of the perineum. That's deadly. You don't want one of them. You just don't want you don't want your ass to kill you. Not only that, it's no man's land. It's a place you visit when you're showering, but that's about it. Who the fuck knew that thing really did something? I had no idea that there was something important down there, right? That's what's terrifying about that fucking side effect. What do you mean? My taint can kill me, you stupid motherfucker. Who made that drug? I mean, my whole life, I thought that was just a joke. I never knew that there was anything important down there. Who knew it could get infected? Exactly. Who even wants to know? I mean, that's horrific. Holy shit. Makes you want to take antibiotics every day. You mean I can get my ass infected like that? And it's not your ass and it's not your dick. It's in between. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's not your ass and it's not your clit or anywhere near it. It's in between. I mean, that's terrifying. I don't know. I haven't listened to Daniel in a long time. I don't know. I don't know if that's a persuade. Like all of those guys that talk like that, you've got a lot of different streamers out there that know exactly what the users out here, or they have that con man personality where I don't know, they just talk in a soft way maybe, or they're more relaxed and they deliver things in a way that can just carry people's attention. I'm not that kind of a guy. Yeah, I just like a bull in a fucking china shop. Let's get it done. It's a soft spot. Well, you don't want that soft spot ever to catch an infection because that's fatal. That's horrific, and you know, I mean, it makes you definitely not want to be part of diabetes. How could that be part of a fucking diabetic drug? Yeah, I've come across different people's channels, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens with these Koberger motions. There's nothing we can do. She filed the motions, and, you know, I see in today's, I was listening somewhat to Truth and Transparency to Lana, and I think that she's missing the point. When she points out that Judge John Judge was lied to, I tried pointing out in her stream that I don't think what she's pointing at is what caused him to believe the prosecutor. What I think caused Judge John Judge to believe the prosecutor was when they filed all of their paperwork and they said that it was later determined that it could be 11 to 16. I think it's that statement and only that statement that kept Judge in the game to go along with the prosecution, because that is not what we've been told has happened. That is not what we've been told. We've been told clearly with no ambiguity that there's two different identities of the cars from two different videos from two different locations. And one of those locations is around the house and part of the PCA. And that vehicle is factually an 11 to 13. Judge John Judge never knew what I just shared with you. Judge John Judge and the filings from the prosecution to the court, it's written that they later determined that it could also be, and that's not what happened here. That is not what happened here. Not based on what Ann Taylor has shared, not based on the witness statements, not the witness, the prosecution witnesses have stated while she's questioned them, and clearly the FBI agent himself, who stands on his identification of the cars. And you know, that's why Ann Taylor has been so fucking hard on when did you come in, when did you determine it was him? You know? Was it the DNA? Was it what? And that's the other thing too. She did put in one of her filings. Hang on one second. You know, I may be repeating myself, but I can't stress this enough. I'll make it even simpler. If I give the police department a fingerprint, all they can do is run it through their available systems. Okay? That's all they can do. And they're either going to be able to identify it or not. Unlike with DNA, or DNA is like that, but it's unlike it in this respect. They claim to be able to determine who that is without any name. So if you go to a lab and you say, here's some DNA, can you tell me who it belongs to? Because DNA is looked at by different chains of DNA, okay? When I enter your DNA, that sample, that card, that readout into a database, there's going to be many, 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 many different fucking hits on who that DNA could belong to. And that's kind of what disturbs me with this IgG stuff. They also had to amplify it. They also, but there were apparently no prints at the scene. Now they're talking like there might be, but anyway, but they took here's what happened, folks. They took a sample from where they claim is a brass part of the knife. And they tested it. They uploaded it to CODIS, and nothing hit. They then had to take that sample and amplify it, because what was used in CODIS was not what they would use for genealogy, as I understand it. I could be wrong here. So to me, once you amplify something, once you alter what's in front of you, the catch-22 is, folks, is that it's a statistical analysis that you're later going to perform. And so statistically, these DNA chains that they compare to see if you have a relationship with people it's much, much easier to do with an identity. So you have these 5 people. This is the way you should do it. If you're what they should, in my opinion, what they should have done is tried to do all 3 samples, or 4. I think there's 4 total. They should have tried to do all 4 samples, or when they put in Koberger's, they if they gave Koberger's name, they should have given Koberger's name with multiple other names. Okay, that way the lab would then, in other words, there has to be checks and balances. And I've always suspected that lab was looking to create a DNA profile on Brian Koberger. And that the markers that would relate to Koberger were probably the first markers they started to look for. That's my assumption and that's just an assumption. It could be the stupidest thing ever said in the world. I accept that. But I don't accept that Brian Koberger's name was not part of that DNA work before the DNA work was ever complete. I think at the onset of it. If the sheep profile is not complete, it will never match to anyone completely. It'll never up and proof. That's right. And the reason for that is, Heather, is because it's statistical. And too many people that watch these motherfucking crime shows never take a minute to understand how DNA is matched between people. And it's a statistical match. A lower statistic doesn't eliminate that person as a relative. It just puts them in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth position of relationships. And even with that, you could still build out a tree. It's much, 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 much harder. You see? But it's a statistical analysis. Like I said when I got that paternity test, that's a statistical analysis as to whether I'm the father or not. How many of these markers do I possess that the child possesses? And you could have 95% match, but ironically, that 5% means that you may not be the father. People think, well, that's unlikely. Well, I don't know. I really don't know, folks. If there's a 5% chance you could die by walking out the door, are you going to go out the fucking door? You might not. What if it's 10% or 15% or 20%? When you take statistics for what statistics are, you got to be a little bit more concerned. If that's evidence against you, do you want statistical analysis to be what convicts you in court? And I think most Americans would say, no. Now, if you've got blood samples to blood samples, right? You can then have a test that's determinative. Does this sample match that sample, right? It's like fucking Sesame Street. The allergy that I use is in needing a transplant. If everyone is tested, how many can you donate to? Yeah. Because they need a suspect. Marlos, well, the other thing is I suspect that that Judge kept everything in the game because there was what he understood to be a 30 or 15-year veteran FBI agent specializing in automobile identification. And when Brett Payne said, and was later expanded to include up to 2016, that to me is a lie. That to me is a lie because the FBI agent to this very day is not making that claim. And nor is Ann. Ann is very clear about this. That the Elantra 14 to 16 years was of a different video from a car going the wrong way, the wrong time, and the wrong street. Very fucking clear about what gave the examiner the ability to say that the car in this image was a 14 to 16. Right? I think they showed him that you're right. It's not the car in King or Queen Road. It clearly is not. That's an 11 to 13. So there's so many holes in this case, and I really think that Judge, if he would have known that, he would have said, well, why did you arrest the guy with the wrong car? Why were you investing so much of your investigative time? Because I'm going to say this to you right now, folks. All the way up until December 21st, 2022, they were publicly stating that the car they were looking for was an 11 to 13. Publicly stating 11 to 13. Chief Fry was out there saying that. With no hesitation, that's what they were looking for. Now, some people, well, maybe they were just doing that to trick the real perpetrator. The fuck, that's kind of crazy. Some guy with blue hair goes in and robs a bank. You don't go on TV and say you're looking for a guy with black fucking hair because you're not trying to tip off the perpetrator. This jerk off had blue hair. Yeah, I think that's true too. Feds didn't complete it. I think you're right, Heather. But it's even worse than that. The DNA component is a real bone of contention. That's the first time that's ever happened. My fucking cigarette fell out of the filter. I've never had that happen in all my years of smoking cigarettes. Have I had the entire cigarette just fall out of the filter? The DNA component is a real bone of contention. The true crime community is so toxic, full of people that know more than everyone else, but they still know nothing more than anyone else. Well, what did Uninvited Ghetto say? You said something. I missed what you said. I think the real lesson inside of true crime is that the only effect that you can have is by looking at the fucking work the authorities, your representatives are doing on your behalf. And that's the only place of criminal activity that you can have a fucking difference. Look at these cops in New York that beat that guy to death and got caught on camera. They're not fired. Really? And you wonder why fucking people want to fucking burn down the fucking city? They literally beat this dude to death while he was cuffed. That's okay. That's so not okay. Okay? But not only should these guys be fucking terminated, they should be brought up on charges. They should be terminated. There should be no fucking pay, right? And they should be fined on just the assumption that you've been a criminal cocksucker your whole career. Give us back our money, right? No fucking pension for you. Nothing. No medical care. Nothing for beating that guy like that. We are the people that need to drive that. And yet, what do? We're going to argue as to whether it was just because he was black or now it's a racist thing. And those guys might very well have been racist, but I don't know. Would it be easier to accept if he just raped 4 children? I don't know. For some people, that would be easier to accept. But the bottom line is these cops are not the fucking justice system. These cops in Idaho or the cops that just beat that poor bastard to death, there's no basis for those to have any of the authority to do any of that. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I confirmed that the clerk's car. What clerk? The clerk's car is Brian Koberger's car. But we just had Brett Payne on the stand, and he was asked. And all of the video coverage that you have, are you able to what did she say? She used some word. But in all the video footage you have, are you able to conclusively identify Brian Koberger or Brian Koberger's car? And he said no. All of these fucking videos, all of this 68 gigabytes of data. There's a reason why she keeps bringing up the footage they've given me is between 5 a.m., sometimes 6 a.m. Yeah, why don't you put a link to your upload? How long is your upload for, Heather? How long is that clip? Because we can blast through it real quick. Put a link in here. Yeah, Grant got challenged to a foot race. What were you challenged to there, Grant? What? Was it a pissing contest? What was the deal? Listen, I don't want people to just accept what I'm saying and believe it, but I think some of the points that are brought up, especially when you can actually read and see and hear what's coming out of that case, and really the only question has to be, are they doing this properly? Did they perform the investigation according to the fucking Constitution in their state and the national Constitution, right? That's all we should be intent. Whatever happens after that's out of your hands. But these police is a great example. The Gilgo case or the Giglio case, or whatever the fuck that is, where there was corruption and this guy stayed out there doing his thing for 10 more years. And even if he only killed one person in 10 years, well, there's one person that shouldn't be fucking dead because of the corruption of that agency. And I know these topics get pointed out by other streamers, but as a point of outrage. That's what they're used for. They're used to show outrage. And that's the end of it. There's never any here's a web page. Everybody sign this web page, blah, 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 blah. And we need to get these policemen fired. We need to know that agency, that police department, that district attorney, that mayor, that governor, that fucking whatever it is. Here's a list of all the people we're going to contact with these mass letters, these mass emailings, these mass. Are you kidding me? You didn't arrest and take these and fire these guys? I don't care if the union protects them or not. If you didn't negotiate a union contract that allowed severe punishment for the behavior of the people that work for you, then you're a fucking idiot. And you don't need to be fucking negotiating union contracts on behalf of the American people. As a matter of fact, you should probably be in a fucking bathroom, all right, like they used to have in the old days. Come hold someone's dick while they piss so they could talk on the phone. There's got to be a more appropriate position that could benefit society by somebody that negotiates a union contract like that, right? The union shouldn't protect them at all. The union should say these people are formally discharged from the union and no union protections apply to them. That's the position. But again, they don't do that because we don't push them. And we're not pushing them to do anything bad. What's right is right. You beat this dude to death. Thought Right podcast. Heather did bring a lot to the table. Let's see what she's got here. You guys don't mind listening to a little bit of Heather, do you? Yeah, she's great, and she can get on your nerves sometimes. And I don't think she's all that fucking cracked up to be as far as the looks go, but I don't know. I've never seen her. So I'm just throwing that shit out there to be a dick. And it's pretty effective. So. Savant is here, the cook. Here we go. I think this is it. Van is here. All right, let me go back here. Let me go to here. Let me start this thing. Really?
Paul, great to see you. What do you make of this case so far, particularly what seems to be the scarcity of information, or at least lack of publicly released information? Do you think that maybe authorities know more than they're revealing?
Well, there's no question that authorities know more than what they're revealing. But I think, as I'm watching this case and watch it unfold, I think authorities are still trying to figure out exactly what they're dealing with. Initially they came out and said, this appears to be a targeted attack. There's no concern to the rest of the public. But then since then, they've retracted that. And I believe as they investigate this case, they're starting to realize it's maybe more complicated than what they first thought.
How so?
Well, I believe what's happening is that you have 4 victims, and this is obviously a huge case. It's very complicated. And when they went into this crime scene, they likely saw that maybe 1 or 2 of the victims had more violence inflicted on them. The offender spent more time with them, and they thought, okay, these were the intended targets, and that the other victims in the house were secondary. So they focused their initial investigation thinking, okay, it's going to be something, a relationship, some sort of prior interaction that the offender had with those particular victims. However, when that didn't pan out, now I think what their understanding is that there's a possibility that the offender, the killer, is a complete stranger to these victims, and that the reason that they're seeing that some of the victims had more violence on them was due to the circumstances as the violence was being inflicted.
The details we mentioned about the hours leading up to the murders, how crucial is the timeline, and maybe how far would you go back looking?
Most people have no clue that in 2024, the best way to make money with Amazon is not with physical products.
Now it's out. I don't pay for
It's
YouTube
Amazon's
Premium. I've been busted.
Well, the timeline is absolutely crucial. It's possible that night, that while the victims are out, enjoying their college years, that the offender could have interacted with them or have seen them and followed them back. So that is absolutely mandated to follow up on. However, right now they've only released information of the victims' timelines for that evening. And oftentimes killers make the decision to kill within 72 hours, 3 days before the attack. To kill within 72 hours, 3 days before the attack.
Because it just is such a, it was just such a happy moment. Days before, hours, literally, 96 hours before this happened. You would never think when we're sitting there running around Spokane, looking at cars, that in 3 days, she bought that on the 10th. That in 3 days, she bought that on the 10th.
People I have ever met. If she wanted to do something, she'd work for it. She was the kind of person that I look up to. She, like Maddie, had her whole life together. A few weeks ago, she had bought a Range Rover all by herself. When I went to see her and she had a brand new Range Rover, I remember just thinking, holy crap, Kaylee, I'm so proud of you. And she was able to buy it all by herself. Even though she was a girl so driven and hardworking, she loved to have fun and to joke around. She would come up to a couple of us and be like, guys.
Right now, they've only released information of the victims' timelines for that evening. And oftentimes, killers make the decision to kill within 72 hours, 3 days before the attack. So they need to go back and actually figure out, well, what's been going on in these victims' lives 3 days prior to this attack, if not further.
We just got about 30 seconds left. Can you wrap your head around the fact that there were 2 other roommates who seemed to have, slept through the murders and were not attacked?
Well, from afar, you have 6 people inside this house, 4 are killed. For me, it's where are these victims inside the house? These 2 roommates may have been a house that's more isolated than where the other victims were, and that's why they were spared, or they weren't the target of this particular offender.
Paul Holes, we appreciate your time tonight helping us understand, which at this point is really still a big mystery.
Pictures, still no suspect in the murder of 4 Idaho college students stabbed in their sleep. Families mourning their loved ones while looking to the police for answers as agonizing weeks stretch on. News Nation's Brian Enton joining us live now from Moscow. And Brian, some of these family members are frustrated. Are we any closer to a suspect than we were 3 weeks ago?
Unfortunately, not that we know of, Natasha. The latest we have heard from police is that there is still no known suspect and not even any persons of interest. The prosecutor told me this week they don't have any video of a suspect on camera.
I wonder why that is.
They don't have any video of a suspect on camera, and they're still soliciting tips.
So I think most of us in here can agree that evidence is evidence, and I don't know. We're so able to think. We've been so misled and lied to that the 3 letters DNA is the end of the fucking discussion for people. And the fact that there's 4 dead bodies isn't conclusive that he was in that home at the time these crimes occurred. And it doesn't exclude him being there maybe to clean up. It doesn't exclude maybe some of the examiners of that crime scene that didn't wear protective uniforms wasn't somewhere Kohlberger was, and unbeknownst to either party, carried his dead skin cells into that crime scene. You make all these arguments. He was in Idaho 12 times previous. He went to the store, he went here. So you're showing us where he spread all of his fucking DNA. So you're making that argument. But the problem is too many people don't differentiate beside the idea of a transfer DNA, a dead skin cell. They don't process that because it's labeled DNA, which means DNA, it's got to be you. And if it's at the crime scene, it's got to be you. Same thing for Amanda Knox in Italy. Her DNA was at the crime scene. It was on the knife. Blah, 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 blah. You can go on and on and on. Right? But in every single time where there's transfer DNA being used, the people seem to get it overturned. And the reason is there's other relevant DNA at part of the crime scene that was never identified. And so, no matter how it looks aren't a determinative fact. Right? It's just, I have leaked footage. I don't know what leaked footage you might have. If you have leaked footage, you should probably.
From the public now, 3 weeks after the murders in the house behind me. You can see this is still a crime scene tape. The police department here has hired private security to keep an eye on the house at all times as the victims' families grow frustrated. I spoke with Kaylee Gonsalves's family, her mom and dad and sister, who say they're just growing impatient and they want more information from the police. Is anyone acting differently since the murders? I mean, is there anyone that you have a weird feeling about that the girls knew or that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say not in the immediate circle by any means, but a few of the names that have been circulating around, I think it's hard not to kind of, dig into this. And I don't know how much of that is just because we have so little information from law enforcement and how much of it really is, a sister or a father's intuition.
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that you knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast.
Do you feel like you might be stuck in them forever? Philippa makes putting on and taking off your boots hassle-free, no matter your calf size.
They're just kind of reassessing the house. They're going through it. They're looking for any potential additional evidence. They're collecting it. They'll take additional photos. I mean, they're kind of going over it. It's a large crime scene, and not that anything in particular was missed. However, it's always good to have another set of eyes go over things, especially of a crime of this magnitude.
Now, we also confirmed today the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit is also assisting with the case. They do a variety of things, including crime analysis, create profiles of unknown offenders, offer investigative suggestions, and help with interview strategies. Now, ISP is also expecting an FBI command vehicle to arrive in Moscow to provide more work.
Yeah, I'm going to stop. Just let these two ends catch up. All of these experts, and none of them are worth they're not worth the toilet paper you used to wipe your ass this morning. Literally. For the most part, they're just what they want to call an educated guess. And I look at when you try to sit back and rationalize or reason what it is that we've seen here, like I've done and I've pointed out, a home where every door inside is locked. Okay? It was the mother of Xana that was talking about locks being fixed or repaired or replaced on her daughter's door. So when you enter that crime scene and there's no forced entry from anywhere, there's no forced entry, there's no evidence anybody even entered the fucking house or exited the house. And the only thing you're going to rely on are movements of a car that, in fact, most likely had nothing to do with this crime. I think the car is probably the biggest white herring, and then the DNA comes next. But I think of all things that are a distraction, of all things that mean nothing to what transpired in that house, that car means less than nothing. That the likelihood that car is involved in that crime is way less than zero, based on the information that you can observe to come to that conclusion, which is there is no way to support an external intruder that exited a vehicle and did what happened in that home. I don't give a fuck how many videos you got of a car driving around that house, because every fucking day you got cars, every night, all hours of the day and night. Okay. So to have what these that's what I mean. Your paid representatives got to have an independent way to think, and they got to have many independent minds that will contradict each other. That's how you come to understanding things that are just a mystery, right? So I still can't get my head around the fact that crime scene, the only observation of anyone entering the crime scene are people associated with the victims that following morning that went into that property and were around that property. How many people went in? How did you handle these? All of these things are what we, the people, need to know. Instead of this thick-headed fucking argument of accepting everything the police have told you, of accepting everything the state has filed, and everything that's contradicted, you ignore it. And you ignore it, and you ignore it, and you explain it away. Right? That's how the guilters get over on everybody. Well, there's stuff we don't know. Well, no. That's fine. And I do know there's things we don't know. But if you can't accept that what we do know is pretty fucking bad based on the actions of the government officials, the police, the DA, the prosecutors, that if you don't seem to understand that the way they went about this, how they came to these conclusions, how they handled this case, how they investigated the case, how they handled the crime scene, how they mishandled the crime scene, how they destroyed the house, how all of this nonsense. Never once does anybody that talks about this in the affirmative of his guilt, do they ever point any of that out or even want to discuss that? It's like a forbidden discussion. It doesn't mean anything. Well, it certainly would fucking mean everything to you if your child were improperly accused of a single homicide, a car accident, a theft. If it was happening to you or a loved one, all the processes under which they've come to the conclusion to come after you would matter big time to you. But it seems like in daily life, none of us as citizens seem to have any concern as to, unless it's blatant, like the cops beating that guy to death. If it's blatant, then we can all get on board. But we never see it through. We never coalesce around coming to a sensible conclusion. These unions have been doing what these unions have been doing for these cops that have been violating people's rights and killing people in cases, right? Beating people, killing people, molesting women, raping women. All for you. And we've never, as a coordinated group, stood up and then participated in going after these policemen, the police unions, the mayor, the governors, the fucking whoever it might be. We don't do it. And I don't mean in a violent way. I mean in a very non-violent, cordial way. And stay on them. We just don't do that. But lo and behold, if some fucking goofball transgender goes after Bud Light, every fucking Republican talking head in the fucking world is going to get everybody to stop buying Bud Light. But you're not going to do anything about Bill Gates and Elon and all these other cocksuckers making trillions of fucking dollars while they're enslaving 40 million fucking blacks around the globe. That's okay with you. That's the fucked up part about being human in the modern world. Over and over and over again. I think Disney, rightly so, should take a fucking beating for children that were molested at their park. I think the Catholic Church should take a beating for what they were that. Right? And we'll stand up for that. But where is our tenacity? Where's the people leading us to stand up against these other criminal motherfuckers that have been either mistrained or untrained or not trained or decide to do it their own way? I don't want them doing it their own way. Why has nobody in any of this investigation ever made a big point out of a house that had no apparent fucking forced entry? That's a big fucking deal. Going into a home that we know, it's not presumed, that we know all bedroom doors had their own independent locks. How did he enter these fucking rooms? And there's no talk of forced entry. None of it. None of their paperwork, none of their allegations, none of the description of the crime scene, as little as it's been. Maybe that will come out in what's held back, but it would be stupid to hold that back. Be stupid to hold that back. And yet, here we are. They're not even trying to pay attention to the fact this crime scene was pristine in both the way they entered and exited the fucking property. It was pristine in the amount of evidence they left behind to point to a suspect. And then the only car you do get a warrant to search isn't even a car that was around that fucking house. That's just how stupid your police are over there. They just determined he was the killer and they were going to prove he was the killer rather than looking at the evidence they had and go look for the real killer, of which he could have been involved, of which he could have been, but just not based on what these people are putting in front of us.
Space and additional resources for the investigation. Now, at this time, ISP says the roommates who were at the home during the attack but were not injured are in fact cooperating with investigators. And right now, they are not considered suspects or persons of interest, but ISP says they have not ruled anyone out. Tonight, Snell is insisting that no one has been cleared from this investigation. Reporting in Moscow, Amanda Rowley, Crime 2 News.
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's We know what we know. We've, fought for Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, and, we still stand that way. So I did just kind of want to clear that up while we're talking through this ambiguity that, that's not what we're honing in on here.
We don't want to make more victims out of innocent people.
Exactly.
We definitely don't want to do that. And so what the family is talking about is there's been a number of people involved who police have said have been cleared at this point. The family is saying they want to know what the specific alibis are. They want to know the evidence and proof of why police cleared those people. Also, Xana Kernodle, that's another one of the victims. For the first time, her mom spoke out last night to Ashley Banfield. Something very interesting. She revealed that Xana's father was actually at this house within a week of the murders. Listen to what she said.
Her father mentioned to me that he had just went and replaced the lock the weekend before.
You said her father mentioned to you that they had replaced the lock?
Yes, that he had fixed it or something. But yeah, he said that he had fixed it the week before, just to make sure
the week before.
It's interesting because the way this house is set up behind me, there's a coded lock on the front door, and then we're told the bedrooms, at least most of them, have individual coded locks into the bedrooms. So the fact that her father changed the lock is interesting. We're trying to figure out how the killer got into these rooms. Were the doors open or were they closed? All of that still under investigation.
Father of one of the 4 students killed, Kaylee Gonzalez. Steve, thank you for being on tonight. Just your reaction to getting this news. Was this
Oh, I'm sorry. I am muted. I apologize, Heather. I'm glad we played this because this is the first time outside of what I've been saying now for more than a week about all the locks on these doors, about no forced entry mentioned anywhere. And that's why it's so much more important to look at people that are affiliated with them, that they would recognize, that would open their door to them, right? I mean, I imagine if someone taps on your door in the middle of the night, you're going to assume it's one of your roommates, but I don't know how it would, I don't know if that's your natural assumption, but it just seems striking to me that this perpetrator was able to do, or perpetrators, to do in such a stealth way. And all they left behind was transfer DNA. And in order to make the transfer DNA valid, you concoct the story about the car, even though the car was there. What made you make that leap, officer fucking jerk off? That car discharged a person or persons, or specifically Brian. I mean, that's always disturbed me. How the car becomes connected. Okay? Only in the fucking explanation of Dylan and Bethany. They gave their story, and then that story seems to stand in line, or at least in conjunction with the movement of that vehicle. But that could be simply coincidence. I mean, everybody let's take the car right out of it. Throw the car away. I don't give a fuck if it's a 2016, a 2008, a 1990 car. Throw it the fuck away. There's nothing connecting that vehicle to what happened to the inside of that home. The only thing connecting is what we've been told and how we've been told to connect it. And myself included, we've all run around with the idea that car is involved, but there's no evidence to connect that car to that crime at all. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The police admitted that on the stand. There's no way to connect that car to Brian Kohlberg or in any of their video. So what makes us think the person, then let's go to take that piece of information now and put it on your chalkboard, put it on a note. There is nothing to connect that car to that crime. Worse, there's nothing about that crime that connects it to an external intruder. Therefore, that angle has to be removed from the fucking table for now. And now you need to continue to investigate with only the knowledge that that crime scene itself gives you. Fuck the car. Stick the car up your fat ass, Bill Thompson, and look at that crime scene as it stands, independent of anybody's story, anybody's statements. I don't give a fuck unless it was Christ himself that came down and told you what Dylan told you. Ignore it. And examine the facts in front of your fucking face, you fat, ignorant bastard. And it seems like an impossible task for YouTubers, for police, for prosecutors, for so-called crime scene experts. And it's just, to me, the most sensible fucking thing that you can do. You have to look at this crime through many different lenses, and you have to rule out. I mean, to me, the car is ruled out, folks. It's ruled out when the crime scene itself is described to us. And as much as we've gotten, which you can argue all the fuck you want, based on what we do know, to me, the car is not involved in the crime at all. I don't give a fuck who was in the car. You see? No, I don't know that the BWC footage of Banfield. No, it's Dylan's statement that ties that car to the crime. It's the TikTok. It's the delivery guy. It's the timeline that they constructed, right? And they included the vehicle. And all I'm pointing out is there's no evidence to support the vehicle's involvement of transporting to or from any individual that went into that home. Therefore, my first argument would be we need to really look at this crime scene, and we really need to look at the survivors. And that would be, to me, my main focus of investigation. We need to then look at the survivors, the connections of the survivors, their connections, that they needed Dylan to support the time change because they wrecked right there. Okay. I hope people see the sense in what I'm pointing out. Forget the car completely. It's not even part of the story anymore. Get rid of it. Throw it in the garbage can. Who cares what year it is and what color it is? It doesn't matter. There's no evidence to tie it to the house. The timeline of the crime and the movements of that car wouldn't be outrageous to say that they could be completely coincidental. There's nothing outrageous about that at all. I've left the bank and been in a bank when it was robbed. Both. I cashed my check and left. And after I got outside, I went back to the office and I waited there for an hour, hour and a half for my friends to come back with their checks so we could go out and have some. Nobody showed up. This was the day before a cell phone. You page them, they couldn't call you back. Why? Because they were part of an investigation of a bank robbery. I mean, it was coincidental we were all there. We had no idea that bank was going to be robbed. I mean, you could make that argument, our presence, blah, 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 blah. However, coincidence happens. Even Dylan's story could be completely accurate. Their timeline could be 100% accurate. I still need to understand how you make the leap that car was part of the crime because it sped away at a high rate of speed. As a boyfriend, I can testify that I've done that when my girlfriend's pissed me off. I mean, there's more explanations to that vehicle's presence than just that it was connected to that crime. So let's see where else she's got here. Let's go through a little more of this.
This is a surprise, hearing that there's a date scheduled, and it is December 28th.
Yeah, I was surprised that we're at a moment in the case that we don't even have a trial date. You know, we've had a trial date for almost the vast majority of once they had a suspect. So we don't have a trial date, but we have a date to have, you know, largely the biggest piece of evidence being destroyed, which just seems backwards, you know.
So I would have expected that something this monumental would have been discussed behind the scenes, that your lawyer, Shannon Gray, would have been in conversations at least to give you guys, you know, enough time to process this. And it sounds like that's not the case. You didn't get much time, different than the time that we got in terms of this announcement.
No, and I kind of take this as from a perspective of that my opinion's not important. As a parent, that's not it. What is important is the lead investigators at the county, state, and federal level and it is to my knowledge that they are not in all agreement. And we tried to get them to all come in agreement and address, come out with a formal statement. So if they can't all agree, I find it very hard for the parents to all agree. We're all trying to get through this the best way we can. I want to be absolutely respectful to every single one of the parents. I understand that this has to go down, and I'm not going to fight it forever. And I want to be careful what I fight, because this is a losing battle. But
well, and it's a long battle as well, as we've come to understand. That brings me to the issue of Mrs. Chapin. Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, has given that statement.
Listen, like I say, I don't like conspiracy theories. And I don't purport to want to create a conspiracy theory, but anybody that suggests to me that they got up 3 times during the night could also be the time they got up to let the perp in, right? Could also be the time that they walked up the stairs and knocked on the door to gain access to the 2 girls upstairs. Could also be the time that they walked down the stairs to the second bedroom and knocked on that door to give this person access. And then walked back to their room as they walked out of the sliding glass door. See, the problem I have with this particular case, most importantly, is that when you do take the information, you could create a more probable and plausible situation based on the statements and evidence that have been presented. I opened my door 3 times. Right? That's a fact. She says she did that. The question is, did she open them under the guise under which she's describing to us, or did she open up them door to help somebody through the house? Would you open your door for a fellow roommate if they tapped on your door and said, it's me? Can I come in? Yeah, that would get you access to that room. Could it have been that person acting as an individual on their own that did that to gain access to do those deeds? Sure, could have been that too. That's the problem with this case. There just isn't any solid evidence to say anybody did it other than the poor victims. The victims, there's unquestionable, horrific what happened to those people. But the evidence supporting that who did it is just focused on one guy. It's like no other part of questioning or investigating or anything appears to have taken place. That's just very frustrating.
To me, saying that, we're okay with this at this point. We agree with the university. We think it's in the best interest of the kids who are there, including her 2 kids and the community as a whole. What are your thoughts about that?
In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to show you how to naturally control blood sugar and naturally increase insulin sensitivity. I've got 3 natural.
I totally respect it. I get it. I have leaked footage. I've seen things that they may have not seen. I have leaked footage. I've seen things that they may have not seen. I know for a fact the path that this white salon, this car took. I know for a fact the path that this white salon, this car took. And people are going to wonder what he was doing when he parks in certain locations for extended amount of time. What was he looking at? I want to know what he was looking at. And I don't know how you can see what this man was looking at without the house being there. What windows was he peering into? Why did he pick that location to stop at? Why did he keep going back to these certain locations? And I don't know about the other 12 or 13 times that he was there. I just know the day that this happened in the footage that was given to me. So I'm going to do what's best for my girl. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to weigh on the side of what's best for her and making sure that I'm not going to let something slip through our hands that I could have said something. But I do understand it has to go.
I have this question for you because up until now I hadn't really contemplated this, but do you think it's at all possible that the prosecution is so confident about their case, they're not worried at all about the house standing?
I've been told that exactly. I've been told 100%. The amount of stuff we have, Steve, relax. You're a very aggressive a father. Relax. But it's not in my character to just sit back and just know that an opportunity isn't being seized upon. And I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself if later on, something happened and a jury member said, you know what, it really came down to the fact that I couldn't see firsthand. They told us the ideal jury member was someone who had thousands of acres and had no time to watch TV. He was out on the farm. Well, I don't feel like that kind of guy is going to see the footage that I seen and not want to understand what was going on in the house. And a computer program is going to mean nothing to that farmer. Almost zero value in a computer model to a farmer like that.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's an unbearably difficult position for Mr. Steve to be in, for any of the parents and surviving direct relatives, in a way that nobody could even imagine. I give him all the latitude in the world. I really, if he was promoting Bigfoot did this, I wouldn't have any issue with this guy. Some of the stuff that he's shared here has been contradicted by the court proceedings thus far. So, I'm not gonna, like I said, I am not going to have any opinion on Mr. Gonclave's statements in the public. And is he being led by the information or the statements made by the police? In fact, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I don't know who's giving him that info, and only he would. Only he knows, Well, let me just say to you too. I'm be very, I have a real problem with that statement that Brett Payne made, that the car was later determined to include 2011 to 2016. You see, I have a problem with that in a huge way, and we all should, because that is actually the probable cause. That is why they were, and I want Lana to know this. Some of you might want to share it with you if you talk with her or visit her site. That provided Judge with a sustained bit of probable cause, right? Take care, Grant. Once that statement was made, and the courts were aware that the vehicle could be an 11 to 16, it was later determined. That is enough probable cause to go after Koberger. The fact of the matter was that's not the truth. And to me, that's where Brett Payne and anybody that allowed that to go into any documentation, they all should be held to account. Because there's no way, folks, that people to make those statements not have exact, completely qualified, unquestionable data to support those statements. All vehicles that were imaged should have been an 11 to a 16 is what he's saying. In fact, we've got two different identities of two different cars. And so for him to mingle that in there like that is like, it's an egregious fucking covering of the facts. It's glossing over the fact that if Judge understood that the car around the house was a different year, the same make and model, than Brian Koberger's car, this never would have went to where it is today. Did they support that statement? Was that part of the indictment from the grand jury? Was that what the grand jury was led to believe? That the car seen around the house is indeterminate to the exact period of year, and that it was an 11 to 16? Yeah, I think this poor guy is limited to what he sees, and these guys have an agenda at the police department and all these, whatever their agenda might be. Listen, I think ultimately they definitely want to get the right person and solve the crime. But I also think that these people never admit when they're wrong, and they let the process play out. Right? They let the process play out, and it just shouldn't be the way the system works. And we should be up in arms about that. They should come forward. That should be clear. I wish Ann would make a statement in a motion and a motion to dismiss all charges. That the car identified at the crime scene that's so intertwined with the allegations against my client has been clearly identified and confirmed by photographic image to be a different year than Mr. Koberger's. That evidence exists. If what we keep hearing is true, the evidence exists in video that it couldn't have been Brian that got out of that car and committed that crime. It's that fucking simple. And somehow she hasn't cut through the chase. So it may make people think, well, maybe that's because it's not true. Well, I don't know if that's the case, or if it's the simple case that once you're caught into a trial, all the processes that involve getting the trial must be followed to a T. And there's no shortcuts. It just is what it is. You can't have a preliminary hearing after you're indicted. And in all actuality, everything she's doing right now is exactly. Yeah, so she should be filing for motions to dismiss. And my motion to dismiss would simply be that all the information they based their investigation on, regardless of what they found as far as a DNA, she's already said that. All the info is unverifiable. You can't corroborate the accusations you've made in these documents. So, and again, I go back to the house. That crime scene was just does not appear to me to have been penetrated by somebody unknown to the victims. How would an unknown person to the victims get through these locked doors without making a racket? Where is the Brady violation? Because it's midnight. I'm gonna pull out of here in a few minutes. We're gonna have to play the rest of this tomorrow night. Remember, we're at 15 or 16 minutes here on that clip. What did you just say, Heather? Where's the Brady violation is? Where is it? We're going to wait for Heather to respond. That's what we're waiting for at this moment. Where is the Brady violation? Heather? Heat her. And now you give me a link. Now I want to crack in that. All right, I'll open up the link. All right. And who's from also. So sum up what that is. I know you do. Just sum that up. So, because that's under a motion, the second motion to compel discovery. You know, I mean, that's why sometimes when I post a link for people, I invite you in. You never come in here. So can't you give us a summary without having to link to a page and post a page and read the page and the cast from the 12th or 13th of November? I don't think that showed, did it? The investigative reports and conclusions from all cell phone analysis, including but not limited to any searches conducted by police agencies, FBI CAS team, or other Idaho authorities. Okay. And what is this here? Yeah, that's a motion to compel. How is that is that also part? That CAS that was used to obtain the second search warrant. Yeah, I don't know. These people are smoking fucking crack. If not, then they really should join the ranks of the crack smokers, even if they're against fucking smoking crack. They should at least associate with these people. And listed exculpatory info is there. Let's see here. I open image a new tab. Let's see how that plays out. Date of filing 15 of June 2023. Yeah. Do you know, and then we're going to cut this off here in a few minutes, but did you know, or does anyone know, if they were ever given the complete video of that car that was around the house making them stops and pulling away at a high rate of speed? Do we know if Ann has finally got all the imagery or complete video of that? Or at least the pieces of video that support that? Because I know she was still fighting for that when she had Brett Payne and others on the stand. She was given that on. Okay. So she has so to me, if that video can be identified conclusively by more than one expert to be an 11 to 13 Elantra, this case is over. You know, like I said, you either got to place him in that car and or you got to take the car right out of the whole fucking story. Because it's kind of crazy. All right, folks. Well, we did a bunch of crazy in the beginning, nonsensical in the beginning, and a little bit of Kohlberger at the end. Woohoo! But I'm gonna call this an evening. I think that T-bone is sitting heavy. Giving Sarge the old time to go to sleep bullshit routine. I don't even know. I did buy 40 bags of Wise potato chips and 40 bags of Doritos today because I refuse to pay $1.49 for that which I can buy for 50 cents. So yeah, I got months and months of snacks now. You didn't miss too much there on the Vita Ghetto Superstar. So thanks for coming in, folks. Yikes! Old Sarge is yawning. Balls itch is part of my Tourette syndrome. I thought I had it cured, but apparently I still suffer from that one particular fucking annoying blurt. But we all have our issues. We'll talk with you again. Your Ass Hurts News Network, live from Beijing, China, top of Cock Tower with the League of My Balls Convention Center. You all be good.